Okay, but Stoicism is just cognitive behavioral therapy, but like make it like macho and romantic.
Oh,
That's
so
what it
now we can use that word?
Yeah, well, I'm using it. Well, I'm not. I don't have fucking
It's easy when you're
what I'm
creaming
saying.
over a NASCAR driver.
Yeah, dude.
I don't even like
dude.
NASCAR.
That was incredibly
No,
sus.
you do.
You didn't have to just like NASCAR.
You mean you used to
Incredibly
not
sus,
like NASCAR?
bro.
You do now. Because it was just so romantic the way he talked about NASCAR.
That was great. That was
Fucking
probably
embarrassing me in
that
front
was
of
one of the
guests.
best clips.
Don't worry,
Dude.
I'll grab it. I will grab it.
Dude.
That was so good.
But it was an apt description, you know? It was a very...
No.
Do you disagree, Theo? Come on.
Do your best to keep it holstered on stream is what I'm saying. That's...
Should I pull up the other clip?
I stand by that, by the way. That was a great... I stand by that completely. I do wish that they had cast a higher calorie sister to play the sister in Lilo.
That's one thing I also hope about these videos is we say a lot of great things and they kind of just get lost to memory. Again, no one's going to go searching for a 2-hour live stream for that like 10-second clip, but by immortalizing them on videos, it makes them a lot more easily to find.
Yeah, you could chop it up.
Yeah. Then what? No one should have any problems with high calorie sisters, right? Right, Theo?
That's what I'm saying.
Okay, but like, is there not a cap? You make it sound like
There's a cap. Well, it is about how they carry it, but also, do you want to move furniture by yourself the rest of your life?
You're implying that all this calories are in protein.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I like, girls who deadlift. And by the way, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. That's not, guys are just judging me. You beat off to cartoons, Zarza. So I don't know
do not.
what
What
you're
the
judging
fuck?
I'm
What is the accusation? Jesus Christ.
But I'm pretty sure protein and calorie is not fully the same thing.
I don't, but here's the thing. I don't hate the jiggle either. It's just, it gives you something to grab onto. We talked about this, right? It's also, girls with the jiggle, they try harder. That's the other thing too. You got to factor that in. Like, how much fun is this going to be? It's like, are you going to be seen in public with her, or is this, do you care about the user experience?
Right.
I don't know. I'm just dropping wisdom.
I'm just trying to figure out the interface. I mean, what?
No,
I mean, you're not exactly. I mean, you're painting a bit of a picture, but you're not. I mean, the picture is just a little flat.
Well, you see, he paints a better picture, but there are not enough words to fit the size of this woman.
No.
The fuck are you using for this stream?
A better system because it doesn't fuck with my audio.
No, and I have control over volumes. Much better.
How's it going, Nate? What's that shirt today?
Wait, is he frozen?
I'm here.
Oh, whoa! What is it with your aspect ratio?
Yeah, that's why I said, what is this weird? Yeah. What is this weird ass system you got me using today?
Man, you look like the Easter Island heads emoji.
I'm looking at the camera. That's that.
We've got the negative.
Fucking Zordon.
Oh man, this is going well. Hey, third Relify is here. Friend of the channel. What's up, buddy? Hey, if you're interested in news without the spin, or at least with the right spin, you go ahead and look up Third Relify.
Alpha, Rita's Escape. Bring me a team of teenagers with attitude.
That's a reference to Zordon.
Mm-hmm. Let me see if I can fix this real quick. Hold on. There's got to be a way.
It looks beautiful. You shouldn't fix it. It looks great. It'll make my editing later so much harder.
This is good.
Right.
Well,
it's going to be much harder for you to hide your emotions during this discussion. So just leave it alone.
I
think last night was probably something I needed anyway. So that's good. Anyway. Okay. Maybe.
By the way,
your avatar is just a big F. Well, I'm sorry. I've never used this before. I didn't exactly have time to prepare.
Aren't you glad we got all these tech issues sorted out before we went live? I feel like that was a great decision. glad we
It
did
was.
that.
All right, there we go.
There we go.
Hey. Okay,
As for the shirt,
I will be in the back
last night.
producing, and if you need me to pop back in, let me know.
Yeah. Very cool. Okay. Fashion show at lunch. All right.
It actually just got here.
Why is it so much purple in your house, Nate? What's going on with that?
Whoa, what's wrong with purple? Purple's a cool color.
I'm asking from a place of curiosity, not judgment, Arza.
I don't believe you.
What's wrong with purple?
I'm just asking, what's right with purple? I think that might be the better question.
Purple is that natural balance between the light and the dark side of the force, son. That's why.
Really? Okay.
No, the natural balance is the light side. Light side is balance. The dark side is imbalance. Get out of here with your neo Star Wars isms.
It comes from expanded lore, jackass. That ain't Disney's
Well,
lore.
that is Disney lore because that's what Disney went with. George Lucas lore is that the light side is pure balance.
Well, we know that's a bunch of bullshit from the movies.
No, because the entire point was that the Jedi Order was imbalanced because they were adulterated by the dark side. Come on, did you watch the
And
movies?
this will be a good time for that clip of Peter Griffin. Oh my God, who cares?
Yeah,
guys,
I agree.
I have to wrangle this. I have hot chicks who watch this. We got to change the discussion.
That's a good point. You make an excellent argument. I apologize.
Let's not do that. I
Hot
don't
chicks
know.
like
So-
Star Wars. What are you talking about?
Keep talking. You will never need to use birth control.
You will save a fortune on condoms, buddy.
And that's
But
not
I believe in
purple.
you.
And that sign's not purple. It's neon.
Hey, Gray Poupette is here, friend of the channel.
Okay.
Hey,
Yo,
Gray.
Gray. I haven't seen him in a while.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no. Originally, he was my first viewer. He's my one person who can claim to be a longtime viewer of Touch Grass.
And he
Right.
left you.
Yeah, I wanted to. So this is something I was saying last night is that Stoicism is cognitive behavioral therapy. But cognitive behavioral therapy has been like sanitized, and all of like the nobility and the romanticism has kind of been drained out of it. It's been made very like, scientific and kind of neutral sounding. Also, we're agreeing CBT is a terrible acronym to use. Don't Google that, please.
Yeah.
No, I love it. It makes it because every single year, a bunch of incoming college freshmen have to learn about CBT in their intro to psychology class. And it is so funny to watch their faces just drop with shock.
It's not good. So
Because you have a professor has to stand up. Usually, an old guy has to stand up and say, "CBT is the most important form of therapy."
oh Lord. Anyway, don't look into that. So the point is, cognitive behavioral therapy is basically talking to yourself, learning how to talk to yourself. So when you have like really strong emotions, you have thoughts about them that are really extreme. And something you learn from Stoicism, which is better. Hey, Diana's here, friend of the channel. What's up, girl? How you doing?
Keep it in your pants.
I'm monologuing. Can you I can do whatever I want when I'm monologuing. Anyway, what I was saying. So this idea from Stoicism is what hurts you when it comes to emotional pain is not the problem. It's how you think about the problem. Right. So you can think about a problem as a setback, or you can think about it as an opportunity for growth. And that's really challenging. But if you can kind of train
Oh, he's frozen.
really well, and that's what cognitive behavioral therapy is. Okay. So that's what I was trying to get to last night. I don't know how to make that like idea palatable for an audience, though.
That's a tough one.
That's why you people are here.
You people.
Yeah.
Well, I guess I think it'd be referring. Well, I think we need to first start up by changing the wording that we use, because while changing language is bullshit and should generally be avoided, there is a lot of problems when you come to considering Stoicism and CBT both, because Stoicism really has this toxic mindlessness about it. The way when you say Stoicism, people usually think that you are the rock who has no emotion, not someone who's in control of your emotions. And then cognitive behavioral therapy is tied to the American psychological systems, which are excruciatingly gynocentric and ignore male ability.
No, that's true. I was thinking about this. Like, I how many people have like a reflexive bad reaction when I say the word stoic? That happens so much. It's always I can just be out in I could be in the wilderness alone and I could say, I think being stoic is good. And some woman will jump out of the bushes to nag me
I
and
was
tell
gonna
me
say,
that you're keeping your emotions in balance and you need to cry more. And it's like,
There's
okay.
definitely a stigma.
And
I
it's
was gonna
like,
say,
no.
I think the only people that would only tell you that are the blue-haired weirdos that go to all these colleges that ours goes to.
Dude, you'd be
Oh, no.
surprised.
Oh,
Well, see,
no.
when I
No,
hear
I don't think it's just them. No.
no, but when I hear stoic, what I think about is the father from How to Train Your Dragon. That's all I really think about.
You
Actually.
think of Gerard Butler?
Exactly.
That's a pretty good analogy right
Yeah,
there. I like that.
Well, no, his name is Stoic. That is his name.
That's
it's
gonna
like
be my next D&D
it's just
character.
I guess it's not that you don't feel it's just easier not to panic if you know you're going to be okay.
Well, yeah, because
You
Stoicism
know,
isn't about
if you
not
don't like,
feeling
because
emotions.
reality is you're probably going to be okay no matter what. You know, you're probably going to be okay no matter what. Because here's the thing: it's like a worst thing that happens is you die. Then it's not your problem anymore, right? You know, so if you're not going to die, then you're going to get through it, and then you're going to have whatever less. It's either going to go well or it's not. And if it goes badly, you learn from it. And if it goes well, it went well. So in all of those outcomes, you're kind of fine. And once you put that together, you can just kind of do stuff. I don't
To
know.
put it in more layman's terms, it's a common strategy that is used. That's if you can control it, why worry about it? If you can't control it, why worry about it?
Right.
Yeah. So that's kind of like, I don't know how to,
Or for the fellow addicts and alcoholics in the audience, it's what's the term? Being able to accept the things you can't change and
the courage to change the things you can and the wisdom to know the difference, baby.
There we go. Thank you.
Yeah. That's like, I don't know. It's like, and I don't know. So the kind of the worst thing. So when I was living in San Diego, I went through a really tough period where I lost my my job and my apartment and my car kind of all at the same time. And I had a sweet car too. It was a fucking convertible. I was rad. And then one of the things that happens when you lose your car and your job and your apartment all at the same time is you also lose your girlfriend. And so as we're kind of like having this conversation where it's like, I know she wants to stay in it and I want to stay in it too, but it's like, it's bad. Like I had to just accept the fact that like all of the problems in her life were my fault. It's like every single problem that she had was caused by me, and her life would just be eminently simpler and easier if I wasn't in it, right? Yeah. And so then, and I just didn't have a place to live. My car was fucked. So I had to transition from traditional housing into a more mobile form of housing. And I was living on a train for a bit. Yeah. Living on a train for a bit. And so bear in mind, I went from graduating law school to living on a train in a period of like 8 months.
Wow.
And so it was a huge, I went from like people, here's the thing. And then after that, I had to decide to become a comedian, you know, and guys, here's the thing. I don't think you guys get this. I used to fuck chicks who fucked lawyers. And now I fuck chicks who fuck comedians. And I was not ready for that level of drop off.
Which one?
I wasn't ready for it. It's like going down to the minor leagues. It's
Plot
so
twist,
bad.
they're all men.
It's so bad, dude. And well, it was for a while because I had to be an open. Okay, when I went back to comedy, I hadn't done stand-up in like 5 years at that point. I had quit comedy to be a lawyer. And I went back, and as far as everybody was concerned, I was a brand new open micer. I had no reputation in my hometown. Like nobody fucking knew me. And I had to like, you know, go in there and start at the bottom. And it fucking sucked so bad. I hated it so much. Because the way people would talk to me, like at that point in my life, I'd already done like paid shows. I really knew how to write jokes, but I wanted to be wild and kind of like experiment to try to see if I could find something cool that I thought was hiding. Right. And so I was getting all of this like really patronizing advice from people who didn't know stand up as well as I did. And I just had to fucking take that shit like in the face. I just had to deal with it. And and I like, dude, and for a while when I started to do well, there was like people said that like a bunch of people started like lying about me and saying that I was like a sex pest or something.
Wow.
Yes.
Well,
Hey, hey,
I don't know what would give them that impression, but I'm just saying.
This. Anyway, moral of
Your
the story.
high caloric sisters would agree with that statement.
I'm very pro. The point is I went through this like incredible period of turmoil, and I came out the other side of it with a ton of like insights into just how people are, and I got to see the world a little differently because of that experience. There was a lot of stuff that happened in between that was like really fucking messy, and there were a lot of times when I just did not think I was gonna make it. It's like, dude, homelessness is a fucking bitch, bro. Like that's a motherfucker. That's real, and I don't know. I think I emerged from that period like learning a lot. Like I learned how to intentionally lower my heart rate. That's really important to do. Like that's one of the most important things you could do to like
Theo
ground
about to
yourself.
start his Navy SEAL arc.
Yeah, basically. Well, no, it's just like, because stand-up comedy is like really hard to do
We've got our
because
new Batman over here.
yeah, because
Minus the money.
how many of you? Okay, what's your experience with public speaking?
Ugh.
Right, right.
Closest I came to it was a theater class in high school, and I think in that moment, that's when I decided I don't want anything to do with theater or public speaking.
I take a lot of.
Go ahead.
I take a lot of public speaking classes and a lot of philosophy classes that demand large presentations. So pretty comfortable with it. I feel.
Well, okay. Let me ask you something, Nate. How did you feel when you were on stage in your theater class?
Well, let me give you the setup for this whole thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
This whole assignment that we were doing, we were basically having to do a monologue from a particular movie or show that we liked. Yeah. We had to memorize it from heart. And my genius ass was like, I'm just going to do the president's speech from Independence Day because I already know that by heart. So I literally got up there in front of a mic and just yelled the whole thing into a microphone as loud as I could. I mean, I was passionate about it. And the whole class is looking at me like I'm the biggest egghead on the face of the earth. Like they didn't know what I was talking about or what I was referencing. And even the teacher to a point, because he looked like a millennial piece of crap that basically got hired as a diversity hire. He just was looking at me the whole time like I had two heads. And by the time I got done with it, I tried to make a statement. I dropped the freaking microphone and walked away thinking I did so great. And then the next day when I came into school the next day, the guy had given me a B-. I was like, a B-? Are you serious? He's like, you were a little too loud when you said all that. I'm like, fuck you. That's how it is in the movie. What do you mean? From that point on, I was like, you know what? I can put that much passion into something I want to say or I want to do in front of a microphone, and it's just not going to please everybody. So this is not for me, dude. And plus, I got really bad stage fright as well.
There we go. That's what I was looking for. That's what I was looking for.
Well, hold on. So the fact that, the only reason I did it was because, dude, when am I ever going to get to scream the freaking, speech from Independence Day into a microphone ever again?
Whatever you want. You own a microphone.
You own a microphone.
What the fuck are you saying? You can do it now.
You can do it. Well, probably not right now because we're.
I'd prefer if you didn't.
I can do it right now.
But if you think about every single one of us are every day doing public speaking. This is what that is. Well, we can't see our audience. The audience is still there and judging us.
It's public speaking now.
Yes, it was speaking in public.
To the 8 people watching, yes.
The difference is you don't get to see the audience. So there is a definite big disconnect between how you feel talking in front of a camera versus on a stage with people actually looking at you and you looking at them.
Yeah,
and That's where a lot more emotions and, like Theo was saying, heart rate comes into play.
That's
when
what I
you're-
was
you're
gonna
standing
say.
there exposed like that.
Is because I get stage fright. I have the same stage fright as a normal person. I'm actually like probably more sensitive to social embarrassment than the average person. I'm actually like more sensitive to it.
Yeah, because look up on stage.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're so
Like, there are
intense.
repercussions.
Yeah, and I think like temperamentally, I think there's a part of me that like really wants to be liked and really cares what the room thinks about me, right?
Yeah.
Otherwise, I couldn't do comedy. I couldn't do comedy if I didn't care,
Mhm.
So I get that really bad stage fright because it comes from a place of really wanting to do well and wondering if I'm, wonder if I'm prepared. So the way you get that a couple of different ways through exposure, but like when you're starting out and you want to get back on stage, like coming back on stage after 5 years away was a motherfucker. I did not want to be there. Right. So my nervous system is really activated. And if you look nervous up there, the audience is they're not going to like it. They want you to look comfortable. If you look like you're having a good time, they're going to have a good time. If you look like you're not having a good time, that's going to shoot you in the foot. That's going to be a big problem. So you got to look like you know what you're doing, right? And so yeah, I learned how to breathe so I could like make my nervous system be quiet. And that was something.
How did you do that? Like, is
Okay,
it
there's a
through
couple of different
meditation?
ways. Yeah, well, I have a couple of different things I do. So I do meditate a lot, but one thing I do is box breathing is 4 in, 1, 2, 3, 4 in, hold for 4, and then release for 4, and then pause for 4 before taking your next breath. So it's 4, 4, 4, 4. And then you can like breathe. This one's fun. You can kind of breathe like this. And then you do a sharp inhale after a long breath like that. And it sounds weird in a microphone probably, but that will inhibit your fear response. And if your heart rate is like really going crazy in that moment, you can slow it down really quickly doing that. So because like a lot of this stuff, a lot of emotions, it's like we get freaked out because our physical body starts being active. If you can quiet the physical symptoms, then you can quiet the emotional ones too.
Well, here's another thing for that too. The brain doesn't actually know what emotion you're feeling. Your brain knows that your body's reacting. And so one thing that's really interesting is the nervousness and the excitement response are near identical, and the brain can't actually tell them apart. So it's you have the response, and then your brain tries to figure out what it is, and it'll autofill anxiety most of the time. But if you just this is where cognitive behavioral therapy comes in. If you just reframe in your mind as you're excited to do it and you're really looking forward to it, you can trick your brain into thinking that is an excitement response and not an anxiety response.
That you can actually, it's okay. To show how these responses are really close together. Have you noticed that if you tell me something really upsetting, there's a good chance that I'm going to laugh really hard? Have you noticed that about me?
Because you're a comedian and you're constantly dying on the inside.
But those two responses are horseshoed, right? Like the sad response and the humor response are right next to each other. I think mine are just a little bit closer together.
It's also an emotional intensity thing. When the more intensive emotion you feel, the less likely your brain is to be able to identify which one is which, and will allow you to switch between them so drastically. It's why little kids, they switch between intense emotions constantly.
They're just all over the place. So it's a lot of fun. You can kind of get your shit to calm down a little bit, and you can do this as kind of a daily practice if you think about. I guess thinking about it like nothing. I don't know. Mark Twain said that that almost all of his anxieties never happened. And I think most people are like that. Most of the things we worry about don't ever actually happen. And it's almost never as bad as you think it's going to be. That's the other thing too. Almost never.
Anxiety is one of the worst emotions to have because your brain, like when I get anxiety, like obviously you have a physical response, like your heart starts beating really fast, and then when you feel your heartbeat kind of you can hear it, it heightens your heart rate even more, so then you get freaked out. Anxiety it's a strange thing.
Pixar made a really fun movie about that recently, huh, Arsa?
That movie was trash.
The movie was great.
It did a terrible job of portraying anxiety and other teenage emotions.
I disagree.
I'm studying psychology. I can tell you, it included a lot of things that weren't even emotions.
Wait, what was this movie?
Inside Out.
Inside Out 2.
Oh, 2?
Yeah.
I saw part 1. So I didn't bother to see part 2.
2's fine. I mean, it's not as great as the first one, but I think in terms of the message it's trying to get across, it does an all right job.
I don't know. I think the way that we talk about mental health in this culture is just so counterproductive. I think we encourage people to identify with their diagnoses.
Exactly.
And I think you give somebody a label and then they run with it and use that as a crutch to not have to fix their shit or examine their own behavior or get any better.
And to steal Ars's favorite word, or romanticize. The mental health culture has kind of been embedded into this whole identity culture that we see a lot in the younger generation. I identify with my sexuality. I identify with this. And they've made it where it's trendy. It's cool. If you don't have a mental health disorder, you're almost not one of the cool kids or part of the club. And that is a massive, massive problem. And the more you collect, it's almost like Pokemon cards. You got to get them all. So I'm bipolar with ADHD.
Oh, no.
And, antisocial dissociative personality disorders and XYZ.
I got multiple personality disorder.
Right. You see a girl on TikTok talking about her headmates like it's a cool thing. And then the worst part about this is then it funnels into these kids are getting prescribed dangerous and unnecessary pharmaceuticals. You
guys are 100% accurate.
We could do a whole episode just on that.
Most mental disorders are temporary. They're not chronic. A mental disorder being chronic is a severe problem. Anxiety, depression, a lot of these other ones, they're temporary issues induced by usually imbalances or an inability to control your emotional reactions. That's something you're supposed to be trained out of. If you are diagnosed with depression, that diagnosis realistically only has a shelf life of like 5 years, and then you have to get a new diagnosis, basically. Something with ADHD diagnoses actually goes away when you turn 18. You have to get re-diagnosed as an adult.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and it's a lot harder to get diagnosed as an adult.
Yeah. I think a lot of this stuff is just like I don't know. I think a lot of this stuff is that the modern world is just designed to make you depressed and anxious.
Well, I got a wonderful term for you, and it's one of my favorite terms. It's called pathologizing the norm. Basically, it is a habit of identifying a ton of norm behaviors, like a 5-year-old boy not being able to sit still during class. Yeah. You say he has ADHD, you're pathologizing the norm, making it something that is not only abnormal, but actively negatively health related.
Right. Okay. And this is my thing. Okay.
Kids are hyper.
So here's the thing. It's like if you start to identify as part of your personality, part of who you are as a person, part of your identity. I'm a person who struggles with regulating my emotions and doing okay. And I have these baked in challenges. And then you encounter challenges in the real world. Then you're going to be like, oh no, how am I going to manage these in addition to all of these challenges that are core to my identity? You've made weakness part of your identity, right? So when you encounter these challenges, you're a lot more likely to kind of like fold under pressure and give in to it all, right? Because it encourages you to think about the world in a certain way. And there's the thing. It's like, that's what's kind of like, that's kind of what's put me off. I used to be like super pro therapy, and now I'm like really, really kind of like coming off that now. Because
this also actually relates back to the Stoicism and behavioral therapy, because what a lot of these people do, and it's with Red Strider said, these girls who develop Tourette's piss me off. That's my thing. A lot of it. Fair. I'm glad I'm not the only one here with a tic disorder. It makes me feel at home. But the thing is, when you tell yourself you have a disorder or it's bad or whatever, you're going to make it worse. So this is one of the things that people notice. If you tell someone they have ADHD and it's okay, they will internalize and reinforce that it's okay to be weird just because they have ADHD, and therefore they won't control it better next time. Or these girls, if you here's my favorite, DID, dissociative identity disorder, or as the layman's call it, multiple personality, doesn't exist. It's not a real disorder. There are no natural cases in the world. Every single case has been caused by a psychologist.
I've
And
always
this
thought
is-
this.
Yeah.
Yes. And this is also a way with especially the younger generation. It's an accountability issue. What's easier to say, I need to actively better myself and change my behavior, or it's okay, it's not my fault, I have a disorder and you have to accept me for that.
But you won't accept my time blindness?
Right.
Oh God, time blindness.
Yeah.
But no, this is actually one of the things I'm most passionate about. And you're exactly right, Theo, that there's a huge issue and a stigma behind therapy right now. Since I'm studying psychology, this is what I actually care about.
And this is okay. So I wanted to tie this in. I've noticed this too. I have this friend that I disagree with on a lot of things. We argue a lot, and one of the things that because I've lost significant weight. I was a lot heavier at one point in my life, and I lost about 60 or 70 pounds to get to my current body weight, and I've been able to keep that off for multiple years. And I did that through significantly changing my lifestyle. And she is very into body positivity. And she has assured me numerous times that intentional weight loss is impossible. And I'm like, that is not right. And
Are you sure about that?
But she's like, no, you don't understand. My baseline is higher than your baseline. And look at all that. And what she'll show me is look at all this research saying diets aren't effective.
Keyword,
and I'll say, I'm not talking about a diet. I'm talking about changing the whole way you do everything so that there's more motion and better food and more sunshine. I'm talking about a whole lifestyle shift. Like obviously, yeah, sleep is huge. People don't realize this, how important fucking sleep is to weight loss.
Overrated.
Not enough sleep can fuck with your brain.
Nope.
Yeah, dude. And to just feeling okay.
Your body chemistry, everything.
Yeah, just feeling okay. Like if you're depressed, there's a really good chance that if you just get a couple good nights sleep, eat a fucking steak, and get some sunshine, you'll start to feel better.
Drink
for real.
a little bit of water.
For real. Like it's
hashtag Tom Cruise was right about everything.
Dude, we owe Tom Cruise an apology.
An apology.
I gotta be honest, dude.
Well, okay, so I don't know how much politics you want to talk here, but one of the big things that RFK is doing as the whatever health thing he's leading, like a quarter of all funding is going into replication studies. Basically, in order for a study to be considered science, it has to be proven replicatable. So basically, if they redo everything, they should get the exact same results, assuming a different set of scientists do it.
Right.
Problem is, we completely got rid of the need for replication. So, like, I think it's like 92% of all studies right now cannot be replicated that are being treated as science.
I wonder why that is.
Because they're used to push a political ideology and were signed off on by people who want to push an ideology.
And that's where, like what Theo was saying with his friend that's all big on body positivity and the studies that she's read that says it's okay. Who do you think funded these studies?
It's like, and I'm like, bro, you could just, are you actually, what's crazy is like, if you're a very obese person, you could actually get crazy weight loss progress really quickly. If you just change your habits, you just change like just a little bit, a few small habit change. We have that much extra body mass. It's actually, you have to do a lot to maintain it. What
was it Bill Burr said one time? Eat a steak and salad and take a fucking walk.
Well, yeah, and it's like, I think the eat a salad advice is wildly overrated. Salad, here's the thing, because people know that, like, people eat a salad and they're like, this was unsatisfying and I want more food. And it's like, yeah, because you need more food. There was nothing in that. Actually, I think you'd be a lot better if you ate steak and eggs for every meal.
And let's not forget, you're probably going to put on some extra meat that's usually more processed. You got to put on the dressing. Most people put on croutons,
sugar.
By the time you make your salad edible, it's now less healthy than a hamburger.
Yeah, exactly. And here's the thing: and this idea that hamburgers are unhealthy, they're not. It's how you make it. It's how the food is that is prepared that makes it unhealthy. You could have, if you put a ground beef patty in an air fryer and then put a piece of cheese on that bitch and then throw it on a brioche bun with a stroke of mayonnaise. And I'm getting horny just talking about this. I'm saying you can make burgers at home.
Keep going,
gang.
Talking to the mic real slow.
Dude, this is what I'm saying.
On a brioche bun.
Here's what I'm saying. It's like you learn this shit. Like if you fuel your body and like optimize it for like athletic performance instead of worrying about instead of feeding it garbage, then you're gonna start to feel better. Like, dude, I'm telling you, there's so many things that the modern world does that are designed to make you feel like shit, and all of us do some of them. None of us do zero of them.
absolutely,
Right? We're all guilty of it. But the more you can cut them off, the better you are going to feel and the more right in the head you're going to be.
And to tie this all back to some of the other stuff, like the Stoicism stuff,
yeah,
a lot of the reasons why people live unhealthy lives is because they have unsatisfied minds. And when you have an unsatisfied mind, you have to make everything else equally unsatisfactory to create a solid baseline that you are then satisfied with. Yeah. So a lot of these fat people are miserable, but like they don't know they're miserable because they just live that way.
And it's like
I thought you were going to say something else.
Well, here's the thing. A lot of people who are really overweight are that way because they have an emotional relationship with food. Yep. So it's like they're using that food to feel okay when they don't.
Their hit of dopamine, basically.
Right, and they don't. And it's understand. It's like sometimes you have to let go of the thing that's biting you, right? But you're so used to it that you don't want to let go of it. And I think food is that way for a lot of these people. It's like, well, you can't take away food. It's the only thing I have. Right. But it's like, okay, but if you had a better relationship with food, you would enjoy food more. And also you could have other things, your life doesn't have to center around food. I don't know what this is. I've heard it proposed that some people just don't have agency. And I don't know how true that is. I guess I would say to everyone who does have agency, fucking make choices. You can do it.
Here's the thing. What about the statement you made before the stream? Notice how the people who are highly motivated gather together. And it's something that I know on my daily
feed
time,
off each other.
Yeah.
Well, because we have agency, other people don't. And this is something else. Like when I'm walking to places, I'll be like standing in line, and the people in front of me are going at a snail's pace to get from. Like, I just need to get my fucking food. Get the fuck out of my way. And you can see people who do and don't have agency, especially when you're in such a crowded and consistent location like a school setting.
Sure. I think for a lot of people, they just kind of want to, like, here's the thing, but if you download the message from the culture right now, you're just going to be like bummed out and like depressed. And
well, YouTube's bad. Smoke pot, sit on the couch and watch YouTube.
That's how you get depressed. That's how depression.
My point is that's what the culture is telling people to do.
Yeah.
The culture tells you to sit on the couch, watch whatever is being programmed right now, and smoke a lot of dope and don't think about anything. And I know people who live that food. Way.
Yeah, it's not ideal.
I can't wait to clip that later. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I look forward to it. That was good. Yeah, I was kind of. Yeah, dude. I don't know. I look at what's going on right now, and it bums me out so much. I met some friends of my nephews the other day, and they're like 14 and 15 years old, and they couldn't hit a ping pong ball with a ping pong paddle. They didn't have that much fine motor skill. Like they couldn't get any kind of volley going with me, and then they tried to play pool, and it was like equally embarrassing. I'm watching this. I'm like, how can you? They have no ability to interact with the physical world. And like, I haven't played pool in years, but I know how to line up a shot. And I like made a shot. And they looked at, they were like, whoa, my God. They looked at me like I was like a fucking deity because I had fine motor skills. And I was like, I'm looking at this, like, what is going on? But this is like a generation of people who spent so much of their lives interacting with the world through screens and not engaging with the physical world as much. So they maybe don't have some of those skills. And I don't know like what's going on with that, but it's like, I think the more you interact with the world through a screen, like if it's making people like really isolated and it's hard to like reality test your delusions. What I mean by that is it's hard to like, okay, one of the things, like if I'm freaking out, I could call Iron and be like, Iron, is this a big deal? And he could be like, no, what are you, out of your mind? You fucking weirdo. No, that's not a big deal. You're going to be fine. Get over it, or whatever.
Being such a bitch.
Yeah. And
wait,
like,
so you're saying that you treat Iron, or you treat, Iron, the way that that girlfriends would treat you?
Yes. Obviously, he has a very comforting.
I was going to get a phone call from.
I find his
Theo's in jail one
soothing.
day. Iron, what do I do about this?
Iron's just go, would you still love me if I was a worm?
Yeah, it's like, and by the way, the answer, can I just talk about that for a second? Okay, the answer is no. I would not still love you if you were a worm, but here's the thing, you'd stop loving me if I lost my job. So let's not fucking talk about who abandons who over pettier shit.
Well,
let's
I'm not
not
your
open
ex,
that can of
so
worms
that's up for
because
debate.
women trade up quickly. You have one moment of weakness, and she starts sniffing around at Kevin in sales.
Kevin?
Like it's like you cry in front of her one fucking time, and she's already shopping for your replacement.
With that point,
she's calling up her guy friend and being like, "Oh, he's doing it again." The night of, bro. So let's not have that conversation.
That point's actually really great to go back to Stoicism because of the fact that a whole lot of men were told to feel feelings that they weren't supposed to feel. And then now that we feel those feelings, women hate us for having those feelings.
Yes. They took decades to reshape male society into what they think we should be. And now they hate us for being the thing that they created.
Yeah, this is the thing.
Myself not included, because fuck that shit.
Well, here's the thing. This is what I always say is like what women say they want and what they actually want and respond to and do well with are always different things. And for some reason, we've been taking what women say out loud as like the gospel truth. And we just decided that was how we were going to structure society. And it's like, yeah, but they might just be saying that to see what you do. Because how many times are you with your girlfriend or whatever, and she'll say some wild shit just to see how you react, just to kind of like see what you'll do. Because sometimes she wants the total opposite.
Just to start shit for no reason.
Yeah, well, no, there is a reason. It's like she's trying to find emotional security, right? Like in that moment, like she's having some like, would you love me if I was a worm? Is like, I'm feeling insecure in this relationship and I would like some reassurance right now. That's what that is. So it's not for no reason, right? It's just, you got to understand, like they have layers and layers and layers and layers and layers of anxious thoughts that are just like beating on them all the time that you don't experience. And their emotions are all over the place in a way that you don't experience. So that's why she needs, constant reassurance, is because of that. And so like, would you love me if I was a worm is, I'm feeling insecure and I need you to reassure me so that I can, calm down these emotions a little bit. And so sometimes it is to start shit though. They do be doing that. That's real.
Wow. You sound like a misogynist.
And a lot of this behavior, really just to kind of defend the ladies a little bit. These are extreme cases that you don't know. Let me finish, buddy. These are extreme cases that, you might see that to a small point, varying degrees. There is a problem with that, especially with the younger women exude that behavior a lot more than finding a mature, normal, emotionally stable person, because they do exist.
Yeah, and I think that's actually way more normal than we want to think. That's the other thing too about social media, has like, it magnifies bad things and it has everybody isolated. So we're all alone, not interacting with other people and seeing just like a nonstop stream of bad things, right?
Right.
That's how you make somebody crazy. Whereas if we actually went outside and talked to each other, I bet we'd find out that women are way cooler than they look on the phone. Real women are actually better than the
I don't know. They look pretty cool on the phone and they don't talk back on the phone.
Now, this goes back to what I was saying before, where we have a big accountability issue. We're making excuses for everybody and telling them, like you said, Theo, this wave of bad behavior is actually good behavior, and you're actually perfect for behaving this way, and everyone should accept you for it no matter what. And that's not reality.
No, it's not. And I don't know, man. I don't know how to encourage. I don't, because the phone is so good. It's so much dopamine, but it's kind of killing. We're kind of turning into Wall-E people. You guys seen Wall-E?
Yes.
With the
Oh yeah.
we're kind of all turning into Wall-E people,
Movie's
and
all-
it's just like put the fucking phone down. And I feel bad because like I'm on the phone now. You know, I'm coming out of the phone telling them to put it down. You know,
Right.
that's a weird position to be in, but it's just like I don't know.
Well, that's because really the problem isn't the phone; it's the amount of time you spend on it. You know, if you spend 2 hours with your phone, like sitting down with us playing through your headphones, that's completely different than if you're sitting there playing a game for those 2 hours. You know, I'll listen to podcasts in the background and do something else, but that's not really the same thing because that way I'm either listening to people or I'm engaging with people or just hearing an exchange of ideas. It's for the pursuit of entertainment and knowledge, and not just for dopamine firing.
But that's not the general audience's use.
I know.
No, yeah, I think most people are using it to check out. I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
Like life has gotten like really
Disconnect.
really boring and really routine for a lot of people, and they don't have a lot of community involvement. They don't have a lot of social interaction. They don't have a religion that they're gassed up about. You know, they go to work and then they go home exhausted and they zonk out on the phone or on video games or whatever. And that's kind of what people are doing. And I think people are just getting by.
Yeah. Well, the whether you want to call it a government conspiracy, pharmaceutical conspiracy, or all of the above, or just societal collapse, we've removed the social aspects as much as they've removed it as much as possible from regular life. You don't hear about like, okay, I got off work and now me and the guys from work are going to go have a few beers, grab something to eat before I go home. That's not really a thing anymore because they discourage fraternization with your friends at work. Where are you supposed to meet people to either just have friendships with or even more relationships? Oh, they've completely shut that out. You're not marrying the chick from the mailroom. You're not even allowed to talk to her. Are you kidding me?
Right.
Get fired. That's an HR violation. The gym, the same way. Just they've made it so social interactions in person have been, really frowned upon and stigmatized.
Yes, this is something I wanted to touch on because I had this thought after our show last week. I realized, like, as I was trying to think of, like, okay, what advice would I give a young guy on how to, if I was going to meet one? Because I have to think of this myself. I'm also single. I'm at a little different life stage, though. But if I was going to give advice to a young guy, it's like, okay, how do you get into a happy relationship while also observing all of the social norms of the society? And the answer is you can't. You actually have to be willing to violate social norms just to potentially like meet a partner in the real world. And that's just something you have to be okay with. And the problem with that is that's going to feel fucking terrible to do. It's going to be terrifying and your heart's going to be.
And you know how you allow yourself to
only the first time. The more you do it, the better it feels because nothing feels better than being a rebel to, raging against the machine. For the actual terminology.
And you're a rebel for love. That's the best thing to be.
Right.
To tie it back to
to use ours as favorite word, that is very romantic.
Wrong context, but I'll allow it. But to tie this all back to cognitive behavioral therapy, one of the things about anxiety is it is a self-fulfilling prophecy. If you refuse to do something because you are anxious, the next time you try it, you will be even more anxious. And as a counter, if you do something in spite of anxiety and it goes well, it'll be a lot easier to do it in spite of that anxiety next time.
Right. And this is why I was mentioning the techniques that I used to overcome stage fright. Because that first time when your heart is beating in your chest and you're like, fuck, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. Being able to take a second, calm your body down right before you do it. Even if you can't get it to all the way calm, if you can get from an 11 to a 7, you're going to be way better off. Even if you can't get all the way down to your baseline of like 1 or 2, if you could get to it from an 11 to a 7 in terms of fear levels, that is going to be super beneficial when you go to do the thing.
This is going to sound so incel, but I don't care. I write about this to Theo, but the other day, like 3 days ago, I randomly walked up to one of my classmates. I saw her in the dining hall. She had a nice stuff, and I just simply complimented her. And given the fact that we live in the HR culture that we do, fucking terrifying because I haven't given a cold compliment to somebody, let alone a woman, just a general person, in probably like 3 years. So it was fucking terrifying. But the moment you do it, the moment you rip off that Band-Aid, everything, all that anxiety just disappears immediately because you've ripped it off.
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
And what did after you did that? And I just want to know what did you do immediately after you did it?
Oh,
after you gave her the compliment.
I just walked off.
Nice.
I did not continue it.
Tell me you did it. Tell me you did it slow. You didn't run like a frightened animal.
I was also in the dining hall. I had a seat already. My bag was at my seat. I set my bag down.
Deliver.
I walked over. I complimented her, and I walked back to my seat.
That is perfect,
bro. You got
be gone.
Hold on, you got
in
W's
the right
in the
way.
chat. You got W's in the chat, Arza. We love to see it.
It's also worth mentioning that a lot of what you have to do here is to violate these social norms. Go back to this idea of Stoicism, in that you have to be confident in your resolve and in what you want to do to not allow for these excruciatingly limiting social norms to get in your way.
Yeah, you have to kind of accept that you are in a society where the social norms are wrong. And then you have to accept that and just deal with that and then just be like, okay, but I can still behave in a way that's virtuous. Even if people around me aren't. That doesn't, like, I control my own behavior. And that's something that I think all of us fucking struggle with. Because I think we know people who can like look around and see things know that things are fucked up, right? Like, it's not supposed to be like this, it's not. And we can see it, like, people aren't supposed to be like super suspicious of each other. And like, people in public are like fidgety and like nervous, and there's little things like shopping is quieter than it used to be in the 90s. Just little things like that. People don't talk to each other like the older folks do. But like the millennial and Gen Z has really been affected, I think, by online stuff, also by COVID. I think COVID fucked up a lot of people. And
it'll take decades to recover.
I'm not gonna lie. I actually, it's a little awkward at the moment, but I love it when someone just comes up and strikes a random conversation. I'm waiting in line at the grocery store, waiting to buy my stuff, and someone just strikes up a conversation. I love that because it's actual, natural human interaction that we just don't get.
Okay, this is actually something I wanted to cover on the Passive Riz episode, but we didn't get to it. You can create conversational hooks. Like the gym is a very, very tough place to start a conversation with a stranger, but I carry a Hershey's syrup bottle instead of a water bottle. And so what that does, there's a few things. One, water bottles are a scam. You don't need them. You can just, Hershey's chocolate bottles, because we live in fucking Wall-E society, are clearly designed to be squirted into a human mouth. That's what they're for. So once you run out of syrup, you could just wash it out. And for a while you have chocolate flavored water. And then after a while you just have water, right? And so then if I leave it at the gym, it's fine. I just spent $3. I get another one, right? And then, but yeah, it's like, and then when I'm at the gym, a lot of times if someone sees me and wants to start a conversation with me, they have an excuse because they can be like, usually, is that real chocolate syrup? And I'm like, no, it's not. I've fielded that one about 15 times. So far, it's all been from men. But
well, that's because men could imagine a world where someone would bring chocolate syrup to the gym. Women just can't imagine that world.
But that's a great conversation starter.
Right. Go ahead.
What pisses me off is there are a lot of people, especially women, who walk around with a ton of conversation starters on their body, and they get really fucking mad at you when you start one up. Like I'm walking,
when you're like, nice tits.
Yeah.
Well, maybe
they've got two conversation starters just growing right out of them.
Hey guys,
what are we supposed to do, guys?
W's in the chat for big juicy conversation starters.
Ours is going to town.
Tarzan, Jesus Christ.
But no, it's like I see someone who's like got like a really niche keychain on their bag or something, something that not a lot of people know about, but I do know about it. And I'm like, oh shit, I know that thing. That's two things we're going like, yeah, okay, and then they leave. They don't want to engage in the conversation. It's like you have the conversation starter right there to see.
Yeah, and it's like, and that's the thing. It's like not everyone you want to initiate a conversation with wants to have a conversation with you. That's fine. But like, I will say this, like because some of those conversations I'm receptive to, and most of them I'm not. Like if it's just like an old guy who wants to riff with me for a second, I'll tolerate that for a bit. But, you know, obviously I'm going to respond a lot better if it's like a woman I'm attracted to, right? So one of the ways you could get around this is if you are a shy person and you can have conversation starters kind of like on you all the time, because then you're doing something like ambiently interesting. Like carrying a Hershey syrup bottle instead of a water bottle is a great fucking way to do it, because people will be up your ass about it. They will try to figure out what you're doing, because that's unusual. And it's like, it's so hard for people to understand that you could just dump out all the syrup and then use it as a water bottle, or like use it for ice cream or whatever, or squirt it in your mouth. That's what I do. I just drink it in the course of like 2 or 3 days, and then I rinse it out and I have a water bottle. Like it's like people don't think like that. So they're going to see it and be like, what is that? I had somebody throw it away one time at the gym. I was like away from it. I had it sitting on the floor and they picked it up, saw that it was full of water and threw it away. And then so they see me go and fish it out of the trash, and she's like, it was on the floor. And I was like, yes, ma'am. It's like, is that yours? And I was like, yes, ma'am. She's like, but it was on the floor. And I'm like, yes, ma'am. And then I just went about my business. Like she couldn't fathom that this was not trash, that it was like repurposed. Right. So this is just an example. You could do something that's like relevant to you. This is relevant to my thriftiness and my kind of like my creativity with how I use things. But like, so it's relevant to my personality. You could have like, I don't know, whatever gay shit you like, just have that on you. And then if somebody likes that too, they have something to bring up to you.
Don't use gay shit, because gay shit will increase your natural body odor by 50%. I assume it's the gay stuff doing that.
So almost like that episode of Seinfeld where the lawyer's wearing a cape. So Nate, if you just started wearing a cape for no reason, you'd be astounded by the conversations you might have by doing so.
I think you should take all of your fashion advice from Superman comics and just also wear your underwear on the outside.
No, I agree. Nate, what are your thoughts on underwear on the outside?
Yeah, capes, no go. Remember what happened to Riley? Nah, I'm good. Well, I'm not trying to be like that man in any way, shape, or form. So no.
So what is some subtle things that you could do in public just to see if you couldn't get somebody, instead of you engaging the conversation with them, incite others to instigate a conversation with you?
I don't know.
Oh,
I mean, you buy those fucking shirts. That's one thing.
I buy them because I like them. I don't buy them to impress people.
I didn't say impress. I never used that word. I said incite a conversation.
And Nate, I've got some bad news for you. If you buy something because you like it, odds are that's external. You liking it is a form of wanting people to also like it. Because what you think you look good in, you think you look good in it because you think other people will also think you look good in it.
Well, it's like if you meet someone who thinks you look good in it, then you meet someone who agrees with you. They share your tastes. And wouldn't that be a nice point of connection to make? I've got an idea for you. Do you watch anime?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Do you have t-shirts from animes you enjoy?
I do not.
That's what I'm saying. So a lot of people wear these anime t-shirts, and I think they look tacky. I think it's a low status signifier personally, but that would also allow you to meet somebody who shares your interest. Like if they see a t-shirt, they're like, oh, sweet, you've got that shirt. I also like that show. Guess what? If he likes anime, he probably likes D&D too. No hentai shirts, please. No hentai shirts.
I think that's really counterpoint to that, Theo. Anime is one of the most normie infested things. You know, like when you see somebody wearing a Nirvana shirt,
he's right.
You want to ask if they hear Nirvana songs.
Dude, I can remember like back in the early 2000s that like there's a lot of things that people do today that, like Arza said, have just kind of invaded by normies. You know, like back in the day, man, if you watched anything like Dragon Ball Z, Naruto, if you played D,
what's up, girl? How you doing?
Or you were our age and still watching cartoons, dude, you would get made fun of. You would be bullied into absolute oblivion to the point where you would not want to talk to anyone ever again. Nowadays, if you watch Dragon Ball or play D&D or do any of that shit, you're cool.
My biggest point here is that somebody wearing an anime shirt most likely doesn't like anime. and they do it
Gotcha.
so unreasonably passively that they do. It's like
Gotcha.
somebody wears
This
a
is-
Nirvana shirt. That's a perfect example.
I was gonna say in the 90s when I was growing up, it was band t-shirts, and then to what Theo's point was, somebody would walk up, oh, did you go see them when they played here back in October? Yeah, that's where I got the shirt. Let's talk about it. Then eventually it became more and more trendy. What trendy eliminates it, because then you'd see a chick wearing like a Van Halen shirt. They've never listened to a single song.
Nirvana, that's a band. I thought it was the mental state.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, babe,
So-
you like Panama, right? What's Panama? Fucking
The canal? I love
walk
it.
away.
So what could you do now that is what's the way you could signal to people who are like you that you're a cool person to talk to? That's the question.
The problem is I can't really think of it because most things that you could have done that, especially for the kind of interest that me and Nate have, are so tacky and normalized now. So like D&D, you
Gotcha.
put a D&D sticker on there and people just assume you're a miserable cunt. Like there's not a whole lot you can do that says I'm quirky and cool and I'm quirky and cringe.
Well, you know what? Actually, I do have a bumper sticker that says "I am Rebel Scum" from Star Wars.
There you go.
Oh.
Thank you for proving my point.
But I see what ours is saying is like, if you said that, I would be like, I could just as easily assume you were a 30-year-old woman with a Disney Plus subscription, and I would hate meeting you. You know,
Last time I tried to talk to a girl about like hobbies was probably about maybe 2 or 3 years ago, and it's because I was going to the movie theater, and this is when I spent a lot of time at the movie theater. I just happened to pull into the parking lot, and there was a girl getting into a car. On the back of her car, she had the Destiny logo sticker, like the video game. So I was like, "Oh, she probably likes Destiny." I just happened to be pulling into the same spot and into the spot next to her, and I asked her, I was like, "Do you play Destiny?" She's like, "No, but my brother does." And I was like,
I figured out. I know what the one passive hobby is. One hobby you can have that passively garners interest. And it's
Did you
reading.
then ask, oh, what's your brother's name? Did you try to keep the conversation going, or did you just walk away defeated?
I just walked away defeated.
gotcha. Okay.
But yeah, I thought I was just
Okay.
realizing,
Did you? Now let me ask you this, Nate. Could you have said, "Oh, never mind. I thought you were cool"? Could you have done that?
Something like that did cross my mind, but I was like, "Oh my god!" I don't have
Yeah.
time for
Well,
this.
then why not? Why not?
But no,
say that?
it feeds into what ours is saying about how some people out there, they may wear shirts that have these things on them, or they may walk around in public with these certain sigils and symbols on it that may signal they might like this
Hold
stuff.
on,
And they
hold
might
on.
be full of shit.
Time out, Nate. Didn't I just solve that for you though? If you see someone in public if you see a girl who's wearing a shirt from a thing you like, be like, "Hey, do you like X thing?" If they say yes, you have a connection. If they say no, I just got this at Target or whatever, then you'd be like, "Oh, never mind. I thought you were cool."
No,
and then
you can't
walk
do that.
away.
You cannot do that. That will
Yes,
get you
you
kicked
can.
out of. No, you will get kicked
You
out of
can.
places.
You
If you
can.
do that,
I
if you say that
promise
like
you
a,
can.
no, hold up, Nate or Theo. Sorry, Theo. There's a huge issue right now where people immediately, if a man says that to a woman, he's immediately labeled as a gatekeeper and is thrown out of the group.
Gotcha. Well, then
actually
maybe
can't
that
say
group
that kind of.
sucks.
It does, and
My
but
only
that's like-
group
it's-
is you guys. I ain't getting
that's
thrown out of
every-
We're not
nothing.
throwing you out.
But no, I'm saying,
not
so like,
throwing
I'm
you
saying
out.
if Nate goes
Your membership's
to,
already up for debate.
But if Nate were to go to say that one of those local board game coffee shops, and he
Yeah.
sees someone wearing, say, a Critical Role shirt, and he asks them a question about Critical Role, and they don't know what it is, like, "Oh, I thought you were cool." He's now a
Yeah.
gatekeeper,
Well,
and he's
how
thrown
you
out.
say it, right? You
No,
say it with a big
at that
smile
point,
on your face,
I'd probably
and you-
get pissed off and go, "Why the fuck are you here then?"
Well, why would you get pissed off? Let me ask you that. That's the
There we go.
interesting
Let's
thing.
get to the emotional
'Cause
regulation.
because in my head, this is an opportunity. Because I'm not really insulting that girl when I say that. Never mind, I thought you were cool. And then I'm smiling because now she's gonna go like this. Because if I say that to a girl, this is what she's gonna do. She's gonna go, ah! And then now we're having an interaction. Right
Mhm.
now she's focused on me and I have her attention and I can say something funny and make her laugh and probably get that positive opinion back. Like positive and negative opinion don't matter as much as the strength of the impression. Like it's actually better to have her hate you than it is to have her kind of think you're okay.
Yeah,
You
nothing's
can-
worse than indifference.
Yeah, so okay, so let's back this up. Why would it make you angry that someone was, wearing one of these shirts in a space and if they weren't really a fan of the hobby.
I don't know. I guess it comes from a place of passion. And it's just like, all right,
Right.
so it's like you don't like the thing. You know nothing about it, but yet you're here. Like, now I can understand if she's there, trying to meet somebody, or
Okay.
if maybe she's got a boyfriend that works there, or this is a place where she's on a date or something like that.
Okay.
But
Yeah. Let me see if I relate to you. I want to tell you a story from my life, and I'm gonna see if I relate to you. See where you're going. So I was going to a comedy open mic one time in a grimy dive bar because I wanted to work some shit out. And there were a few college girls there, and they found out that there was going to be a comedy open mic, and they're like, "Wow, well, if we're gonna do comedy, I'm gonna need another shot." Woohoo! And I'm like, bitch, this is not karaoke. This is my fucking laboratory. I fucking bled for this. You just showed up. Sit your
Right.
ass in the audience where you belong. Be spoken to. You have nothing to say.
I don't know.
But
I
that's
get-
mean, right? Because it's open mic, so she can if she wants to. But I'm saying I understand your emotion of like, why are you here?
Yeah,
This is mine.
it-
right?
It's like
You see what I'm saying?
it's like I said, if you go into a game bar where everybody's playing
Yeah.
D&D and you're kind of sitting by yourself, I might get curious. I'm like, why aren't you
Yeah.
playing with everybody else? You
Well,
know what's going on?
what
This
do
is
you
a D&D bar. You not want to play D&D? What's D&D?
What do you think about Railify's point here? And Arza, I actually want your take on this too. What do you think about this point?
Oh, it is 100% the case. If you allow the wrong people into your community and you give them enough power out of fear of being labeled a gatekeeper, they will destroy your hobby because they'll want it to make it their hobby. And then when they no longer like it anymore, they'll drop it like a used toy.
Star
Yeah.
Wars, Marvel, Lord of the Rings,
And
D&D.
these are people with bad intentions that come into something that they did not care about with the intention of molding it into something that reflects them, because everything's about self-identity right now. And I don't identify with this. This has to identify with me, and I have to make this into something else. Those are the intentions. Now, you have to be smart enough to know that there's a difference. There's bad intentions and there's there's people with the general interest that might just not have the knowledge. And if you automatically discredit that person, not knowing what their intentions are, that is a bad thing.
Exactly.
So-
Gatekeeping is good if you gatekeep the right people. The problem is a lot of gatekeepers have too wide of a brush or too narrow of a brush.
Right.
And realistically, you want to keep out. Well, ultimately, I think the best way to handle gatekeeping is to let people in and just keep them kind of to a very strict role position until they can prove themselves an actual fan, basically.
Right.
So that way you don't let them change the hobby.
Mhm.
If half her head's cut off and the rest of it's blue, I'm not even gonna take a shot at that.
Yeah, and well, no, I think I also think it's fair to screen people to some degree. Like there's certain red flags that are eminently obvious, and that's fine. But like also, I don't think what I don't like about what I'm hearing, because I agree with a lot of what you guys are saying, and I think you have a really good point. But what I'm hearing a lot is a lot of assuming that the interaction is going to go badly, so I might as well not even try. And what I'm saying is you could just as easily assume it might go well. How you assume it's going to go, you'll probably be right. You could just assume it's going to go well. And then if it doesn't go well, it's fine. Fuck it, whatever. You did your best, right? But then maybe also you could beat a person, and maybe, you know what I mean? Like that could be exciting and interesting,
And like Theo, when you said like that, I thought you were cool. And Arza, you were immediately like, no, you'll get in trouble for saying that. The delivery, everything, you have to be very mindful of how you can deliver a playful insult, and 9 times out of 10, that's going to work better than a genuine compliment.
See, you might want to counter that is a lot of these places are very liberally controlled. And a lot of people who are highly liberally minded cannot comprehend nuance. To them, nuance is a dog whistle to hide real intention.
Because he's
That's
right.
why you have to fight against it.
Here's the thing. He's right about that, because I've been kicked out of venues where things were like that for saying things like that. So for doing but here's the thing. Those people suck. And if you get kicked out, good. You didn't want to be there anyway. If somebody gets mad and they don't want to be your friend, good. You didn't want to be friends with somebody who sucks.
Talk to them.
Well, here's the actual issue, right, for that. So say you and I are in the same group, and I say something like that to you. Now, you and I would be good friends, But because I said that to you early on, I get kicked out before I can actually make that connection.
Right, but then you get to find a group where you won't get kicked out, right? Like,
But
like here. You see what I'm
there
saying?
aren't a whole lot of groups that are free, though, is what I'm saying. So sometimes it's better to occasionally toe that line and just like loosely, like very lightly inch it in so you can find sympathetic people.
And see, Arza, you're relating all of this to your current college lifestyle and experience, right? And that's a problem because you're in the belly of the beast. You're across enemy lines right now. You are in the war zone, but that's not going to be forever. That's not the real world.
But I mean, from my perspective, but this is what my parents deal with too when they try to find nerd communities to hang out in, and they're older, and we live in Kentucky. It's not exactly a liberal haven.
Mm-hmm. No, this is all fair. I guess what I'm saying is you're right in the sense what you're saying is there are consequences to being honest about my beliefs, right? There are consequences, right? And what I'm saying, and sometimes it's better to lie so as to avoid those consequences or to toe the line or to, keep things to myself. And what I'm saying to you is the consequences of lying are worse than the consequences of telling the truth. And that's what I'm really getting at is the things you're afraid of confronting by telling the truth are actually a better path than the path of lying and going along.
Oh, I agree with you a lot because that's like I've basically dropped most of the liberal cover here in college. If somebody says something stupid, I will call them out in class, and I have said it done it several times in my various classes. But I think it's funny because we're back to Stoicism, and we're not really using the words to point out the fact that we're back here because now we're talking about the potential risks and benefits of having a more stoic mindset.
Right. And I'm telling you, the benefits wildly outweigh the risks. And I guess what I hear a lot is when whenever I'm talking to, because I do this a lot, I talk to a lot of young guys about, why not do this and why not do that. And a lot of the responses I get are based in like fear of what might happen and assuming a bad outcome, and not only assuming a bad outcome, but assuming the worst possible outcome. Okay. Right. Like you assume, okay, this girl's wearing, let's say girl's wearing an anime shirt, whatever, probably a poser. Okay. I'll give you that. But if you assume looking at her, not only is she a poser, but she's probably a poser, feminist harpy, with borderline personality disorder who wants to stab me. Does this girl have Instagram? I love this woman. I'm just great. But if you assume that before you even talk to her, what if you talk to her and she's super nice? Iron, what did you think about Selena before you knew her?
That's a great example. And I wish she was on camera for this. Honestly, I thought that she was unapproachable. She was very quiet, but because of her appearance, and I was guilty of being judgmental based on appearance, I thought that she was just, the kind of like stuck up or something like that. It wouldn't have dawned on me to consider the fact that she was painfully shy. Mm-hmm. She was. So this is something I like to drill home with the younger guys, just because a woman you think is out of your league or very attractive doesn't mean she's not a human being and capable of being just as nervous that you're talking to her as you are nervous about talking to her. So she's nervous that you're talking to her and you're nervous talking to her. You got to fucking accept that fact that they're just people too.
Blasphemy. Yeah. All right, so I do have a question in that regard.
Nuts.
So we're talking a lot about how men will assume the worst, and because of how frequently men are proven right when they assume the worst is kind of how I feel about it. But like, say I'm looking at for nerd communities to hang out in, and every single nerd community I find is super hyper liberal minded. Yeah. What exactly is somebody like me? Not for literally anything. It doesn't actually have to be that example, but for literally anything, what do you then recommend that us Gen Zers do when every place we go we find just a brick wall?
Translation. Right. They all use the new D&D 5e rules, and I actually play cool D&D.
Exactly.
Right.
Well, no, you don't, because you also play 5e, you motherfucker.
This is it. First of all, I have the most based chat in the whole fellowship. Look at this. Third Railified dropping a Marcus Aurelius quote in the chat. Oh man, I am so blessed, guys. I am so blessed. Here's the thing. So what I'm saying to you is that what you are encountering is called adversity. And what I am telling you to do is to increase your tolerance for it and continue to seek it. You're what I'm saying to you is make friends, and what you're saying to me is making friends is hard, and here's the reasons it's hard. And I'm saying yes, do it anyway.
Why do you think I got
Like,
you guys?
keep smashing your face against a wall until it breaks. And I mean that. Like, even if it hurts, even if it sucks, even if it's embarrassing, even if you get kicked out of 20 game stores, you just keep fucking doing it. Just keep fucking doing it, because there's cool people out there, and your life is going to be better when you find them. Whatever effort it takes to find cool people, it will be worth it. Whatever effort it takes, it almost doesn't matter, you know?
You have to be willing to accept failure and accept defeat on occasion. It's going to happen no matter what. But what's worse than experiencing that every so often is not experiencing success ever.
So I guess, all right, so for follow-up because I'm thinking about pragmatically, you know, there's a difference between what you should do and what you can do. So say there's 100.
Hey, what's up, girl? Sorry, go ahead.
If you say there's because I'm just going to keep on with this D&D example because it's easy. Say there are 20 D&D bars around you, and you go to 17 of them, and every single one of them is the same. Is it realistic to keep going to all the other ones when every single one has been exactly the same in hopes of finding the good one?
Yes. It's like, okay, let me ask you something. If you were at a baseball game and you struck out in your first 3 at bats, should you take your 4th?
That's a good analogy.
Yes, it's a low you got to understand, this is a low percentage thing. You need to anticipate a high degree of failure. It's like it's like talking to girls is like this. I used to be really into pickup artistry back in the day, and the best guys had a conversion rate between 1 in 9 and 1 in 11. That means for every 11 girls they approached, they closed 1. And that was considered a very high success rate. Okay. You got to understand how like low percentage these activities are. If you're going to understand how much, so you got to, it's honestly, the answer is volume. It really is a numbers game. This is why I recommend guys get a job in sales, car sales, if you can get it, but any kind of sales, I think, because you got to understand, you got to get really comfortable hearing the word no, and really, and just understand how much outreach is actually necessary to get even one success. And I think that's the thing. It's especially guys who are really bright. You get used to like school is easy, and or you don't give a shit about it. And then video games kind of like, especially the video games they're making now, they kind of lay shit out for you because they want to give you that
yellow paint. Yeah,
they want to give you that dopamine drip of success as quickly as possible. Life is more like Elden Ring. If that makes sense. Does that make sense, Arthur? Like, life is like Elden Ring. That is a really good metaphor for like, that's
a
the
good metaphor,
you should anticipate.
That's a great metaphor, but I'm almost offended that you use that on me.
Joke's on you, son. I've beaten Elden Ring twice.
That's what I'm saying. If you could beat Elden Ring, you could get a fucking girlfriend.
There you go.
Bro, Elden Ring is way harder.
Did you just compare getting a girlfriend to fighting Melania, the Blade of Nicola?
It's the same skill set. You just fail over and over and over and over.
Died
every single time
600 times before finally killing her.
Every time you die, you do get a little bit better. This is a good analogy.
Yes.
The one thing that
I'm great at this.
The only question I have is just that question of pragmatism. You know, I mean, we're talking about Stoicism, which is a great place to discuss this because realistically, we're talking about at what point do you give up on being stoic? Is what I'm getting at. Because pragmatically, asking 600 girls out and getting rejected by all of them, is like that's when you go and buy a rope.
Yeah, it sucks. No. Here's the thing. It sucks.
You don't.
It sucks, but you just gotta keep doing it. That's what I'm saying. It sucks, but you can tolerate it. You can take it. That's what I'm saying. It's like because okay. So I had Strider said recently that he wished he could borrow my confidence for an afternoon, and I hear that kind of thing a lot. But it's like you guys don't. You can have it too.
You know, but your hairline for an hour.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, well, I can't give you that, but you could have my confidence, but you have to pay for it, right? I paid for it in blood. Like
when your entire generation fundamentally hates you for just being you, it's a little different.
Yeah, that sounds like an excuse. Here's the I agree with Nate, but also at the same time, Nate does kind of catastrophize it because there are people who don't hate us for being us. And I agree that it's really numbers game to find the people who like us and who hate us. It was heavily leaning towards hate. But Nate's a perfect example of this pragmatism. Because hypothetically, yeah, just bashing your head against the brick wall until you break through is a great idea until you get a permanent brain concussion.
Right. And that's what I'm saying is like, there's not really, for the kind of emotional pain that comes from the sting of rejection, there's not actually a downside to it because it only makes you stronger. It hurts in the moment and makes you stronger over time. So what you're doing there is you're paying for resilience up front. You're going to be more resilient later, and that resilience is going to carry with you through the rest of your life. You have to deal with that in the moment emotional pain. And as long as she doesn't like light you on fire, even if she maces you, that's going to be gone. Trust me, I've been maced. You just wash it out with milk. It's not a huge deal. You just deal with it, and then you don't try not to get maced again, but you learn from the experience and you keep it pushing.
So this is something that you and I have spoken about, how Gen Z has a really huge resilience issue.
Yeah.
And I think, jumping from 0 to 100 is a really big gap. And like I said, thinking pragmatically.
Okay, gotcha.
So how exactly does a Zoomer guy like me or Nate really go about getting to the point where we can handle that big rejection?
Right. Okay, so I love that question because that's really important. Sometimes I forget to scale it back. I think what you did, starting with one compliment and then fucking walking away, what you're doing there is increasing your fear, your tolerance for the fear of approach, right?
Yeah.
And then as you get better at that, eventually you'll give a compliment to someone who will talk back to you. Right. And then you'll have a chance to make a conversation. And eventually one of those conversations might lead to you asking a girl out and that she might reject you. But by that time, you'll have built significant resilience. And the only way to build resilience to rejection is experiencing rejection. This is why I say go work in car sales. I really mean that when I say that, especially now, because it's really hard to sell cars in this market. People are really struggling financially and cars have gotten a lot more expensive. So it's even harder now to make your living. Right.
And it made me want to die.
Yeah. It made me want to die too. But I learned a lot from it,
So for this Elden Ring analogy, the way that I played Elden Ring is I sucked a lot at first, so I went to that first camp with all the guards, and I just kept running that camp over and over again until I was confident enough to keep going. So what you're saying that what Gen Z men should do is start out repeatedly doing small tasks like complimenting a bunch of girls, and then just kindly fucking off until they're comfortable enough to actually maintain the conversation, and then keep doing that until there's enough to ask them out.
You spam
100%.
it like it's a low level skill. You have to just do it and 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 do it. And
so
eventually
you have to just XP farm.
Yes, you're XP farming, and you do it wherever you're at, wherever you are, wherever you go, do it there. If it's Starbucks or like you at your school, Frank, you're at a college. There's bad bitches everywhere. Just find one of them and tell them that she has nice hair, and then walk away. That's it. That's all I'm saying. Like, and you do that enough times, eventually you're going to be so much more confident at talking to people you do not know. Talking to strangers is a skill, and it's not just about getting laid. I know that's where your priority is right now because of biology. This is also how networking works. This is how people get jobs. This is how people find places to live. This is how people get booked at comedy clubs. This is how this shit works, man. This skill is infinitely transferable. If you get good at it in your 20s, you can write your own check when you're 40.
Yep.
I mean, it's life skills, really. It's just life. Like this is every day-to-day skills.
To go back to Nate for a minute, just if I went to this place and there was a bunch of people there and I was really uncomfortable and I felt awkward sitting alone. So I'm going to go home. Do it. Okay, great. That's a good first step. Now do it again. Well, the same thing happened. Great. That's a great second step. Now do it again. Now do it again. Now do it again. What happened the 10th time you went? Well, when I walked in, a few people said hi to me because they already knew me. I went to order a drink and it was already made for me because they knew what I wanted. Okay, it's a little bit different. Do it again. Okay, I went back and a couple guys started talking to me and we had a conversation about a movie. It wasn't anything big and I didn't even get their names. And then I went home. I was really tired. Good. Do it again.
So let me
rinse, repeat.
Let me give an example of this because I do this in my own life. So when I was first admitted, so I go through a period of my life where I had to admit that my attempt to become a lawyer had ended in humiliating failure. And yes, sitting in discomfort. And then I knew that I wanted to go back to stand up, but I was kind of going back with my tail between my legs and my ego had been absolutely crushed out of me by homelessness. And so I couldn't actually walk into the comedy club because I didn't feel like I was worthy of it. So what I did was, for a while, I would take the bus because I didn't have a car at that point. I would take the bus downtown and I would walk past the front door on open mic night. And I would walk past the comedians and I walked past the door and I would feel that fear build up inside of me. And then I would walk past it. And they didn't even know I was there. I didn't say hi to anybody, but I just walked past it. And eventually I walked past it enough times where I was like, fuck, man, I'm already here. I might as well go in. And then I was like, fuck, man, I'm already here. I'm already here. I'm already in. I might as well put my name in the bucket. Fuck it. And then pretty soon I had a couple of good sets in a row. And all of a sudden people wanted to talk to me when I was there. All of a sudden people were, they wanted to talk to me about jokes and they wanted to hear what I thought about stuff and they wanted to put me on shows. And then things just kind of started rolling. And it started with me kind of like confronting that fear and humiliation. And by the way, all of that was in my head. Nobody knew that I quit comedy to go be a lawyer like a fucking little coward man, like a little coward boy. No one knows that I did that. Only I knew that I did that. No one knew about the stuff before. No one like all these judgments that I had that were stopping me from doing what I wanted to do and what I was great at were completely in my own imagination. Like none of that had. Go ahead.
I got a follow-up question for you. Did at any point during that going back, did you have a bad set?
Oh yeah. Oh God. Especially the first one was excruciating. Almost a lot of them went really bad. I got a reputation for having really great sets and really fucking terrible sets because I was having fun. I was trying to develop this very conversational style, so it sounds like I'm just making it up. And so a lot of people thought I wasn't writing and I was just leaning on crowd work. That was something I heard a lot from guys who can't fucking write. Anyway, so I was trying to develop this conversational style that looked like I was just making it up. And since I was new, they didn't know that I had reps before. So so I didn't look like someone who was just starting. And so they thought, oh, he's just not taking it seriously. He's fucking around. What they don't know is how much work it takes to make it look like I'm just making it up off the top of my head. That takes incredible amount of work and dedication and focus, but they didn't get what I was doing. So I had tons of sets that just went fucking horribly because I just didn't execute my idea well. And it looked like I was just, and also I was working 70 hours a week at the fucking car lot and I was working 10 hours a week at a restaurant and I was taking the bus everywhere because I didn't have a fucking car, So it was just like,
let's circle back to those, very humiliating, crippling defeats, those epic failures. How did those make you feel?
Fucking awful. Dude, bombing at comedy is the worst feeling in the world. You feel like a puddle of shit. There's no other way. Because what you're doing is you call everyone's attention to you, and then you act like you're going to do something good, and then you humiliate yourself. And then you have to go sit with those people that just watched you humiliate yourself. And here's the thing, that may be the only time they ever see you do comedy. They have no idea that I'm actually nice with the shit. They just saw the time I did bad, and it fucking eats at you and eats at you and eats at you and eats at you. And you have to just be willing to develop a tolerance for it. That's why I say if you bomb, the best thing to do is go right back on stage immediately and just go back on stage the next night and then try to get that out of your system. You need to do it so often that individual failures don't have any weight because you failed so many times that individual failures aren't that memorable. And you just got to push through it. It sucks. I'm like reliving it now and my fucking nervous system is activated. I hate it. I hate the bomb feeling. I hate the post, especially if one time I met these girls at an open mic and they were like, oh, yes, yeah. And they followed me on Instagram and they came back the next time and I was just like working out new shit. So I bombed and I never saw them again. Cause they're like, oh, this guy sucks, I guess. It's just, this is it's the way the game goes. Like I care more about comedy than I do about those like random bimbos. You know what I'm saying? So if I have to bomb, and also bombing is part of what makes the jokes good. This is what I'm saying. Is it's just part of it, guys.
Did you in fact learn from failure?
I did, in fact, learn from failure. In fact, I could.
So you would say you were grateful for the failure.
Yes. I had to experience it because I learned some really tough lessons from that you can't learn any other way other than just by doing it. Like nobody could have told me the things that I learned from that. And
I tended to kind of to that point, I think it was actually on this show that gave me the idea to go. So, like I mentioned, a few weeks ago, I got into my first major car accident. It was my fault. Car's totaled. Got the news back. Yeah, the car's dead. They can't fix it. And what really helped me get over it was I just sat down and kind of thought, I'm like, this isn't a terrible thing. Everyone gets into a car accident eventually. There's no avoiding it. It's better to get out now on a car that my parents bought for me and I didn't pay for it with my own money. And I'm kind of glad it happened now in a way that I can learn what I need to not do instead of what I need to do. Because there was something you mentioned that you got to be thankful for your failures. And I'm like, so I just sat down. I just told myself, be glad that you did it on that it happened on such a small scale so that you know how to avoid it in the future and don't do it again on a much grander scale. Like if that happened while I was on the highway, I would have gone off the road.
Yeah. That's a really good reframing. So
it's kind of like the benefits of Stoicism is learning how to reframe your negative into being something more positive and beneficial.
Full circle. Full circle. Yeah. And so it's critical, right? And this is a learning experience, and that's a learning experience. And now you're not gonna do that shit again. So
I miss my car.
Yeah, I'll bet. So what about you, Nate? Are you jazzed up about
go out there and fail?
Yes. Go out there and look like a fool.
Okay, so actually I got another question that might help Nate, actually. So Theo, you talk about a lot how you should do what is the smallest thing you can do right now?
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of people in my position, Nate's position, and just general male Gen Zers, we don't know what that smallest thing is. So
okay,
what would be those smallest things that someone like us could do?
Okay, well, here's the thing. I was thinking about this too, because a lot of the things we're talking about, Iron, are things that require them to leave the house in the first place, and a lot of them haven't done that yet. And I think we got to be realistic about that. Let me ask you something. How clean is your room?
My house is pretty damn clean.
Yeah, I'm saying. Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing. If you could get in the habit of making your bed every day, that will scale. And I know that sounds really, really, really stupid, but it's something that almost everyone can do. So if there's somebody out there who's just like, their room is just like littered with like McDonald's bags and like depression and sadness and the refuses of your recent pornography binges, then you know what to do. Get in there with a Target bag, get some of that shit out the door,
See, I keep my room pretty spotless, but I keep my bed. I don't do my bed because it's actually unhealthy to make your bed because it makes it better for stale air and bacteria to grow.
Okay, that
it is actually unhealthy to make your bed.
Bro.
I did not know that.
Yeah, it creates pockets of air.
You
it creates pockets of air that will allow for bacteria to grow.
Yeah, well, it's also a recipe for you to get no bitches. So
and
what
also,
I would suggest,
to be fair, from a psychological perspective, as Strider mentions with the Jordan B. Peterson, it is a great small task that you can complete first thing in the morning, and it's really good for maintaining your mental state.
Yep, it's actually your room is actually a reflection of your mind in a lot of ways.
Morning.
It is also an accomplishment you can do in the first 5 minutes. You accomplish something.
Yes, and that's also so when I was kind of like getting my life on track initially, I was essentially a complete but my first step in the right direction was waking up before noon every day and putting pants on. That was where I started. So yeah, and sometimes that's where it's at. That's reality.
Pants.
Yeah, sometimes that's the thing. It's that who needs pants attitude that gets you nowhere.
See, I don't understand that. I can never imagine just like sitting around not clothed.
Yeah.
You'd be surprised how many times I've streamed and I'm not wearing any pants.
I literally never am not wearing pants.
I mean, am I surprised? No.
Like, I don't know.
I live on my own.
I'm disappointed, but I'm not surprised.
I live on my own. Like, if I don't want to wear pants in my own house, I'm not going to wear fucking pants.
Okay, so Nate's got a clean house and he doesn't wear pants. So what's something else we can?
Yeah. Okay. Also, how is it? So the next thing I'd follow up is if your space is clean and you're putting on clothes every day, I would ask you about your hygiene routine. I think Most men have gone through a period in our lives where hygiene was not a priority.
I have a roommate.
Be
who's
honest,
like that
hands
right
up.
now.
Who's guilty?
I take
We've all
hot
gone
showers
through it.
every single morning.
We've all gone through it. A period where hygiene was not a priority.
Yeah.
Well, did you
I've always
school
been
break
pretty
when in high
clean,
school?
so I've tried to keep those periods as sparse as possible. But
Yeah,
Well, you also have a
it
wife,
happens.
and she wouldn't put up with it.
Right. It's easier to not give a shit about hygiene as a single guy, but that is also
Yeah, I
going to
was
keep you
gonna
a
say,
single guy a
that's
lot
usually
longer.
when you're young, have given up, and you go through that,
You're
that
like
phase.
mid
Well, I don't know. It
20s
works for red
nihilism.
dots.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, well, yeah, that's the thing. Like, so when I look at that, it's like, okay, if you could manage to like shower every day and clean your fucking room and get dressed in a way that makes it look like you did it on purpose, you're already in the top 20%. You got to know that, man.
I blame my
Like-
mom. She never wanted me living like a filthy animal.
That's good. God bless her for that. Yeah.
Unfortunately, my parents are the filthy animals, and I moved away for a semester, came back, I'm like, I can't deal with this anymore.
Keep the change, you filthy animal.
Yeah. And it's like, yeah. It's like, yeah, dude. So, and also the other thing too, we talked about like passive things you can do that make people want to talk to you. Really, anything you can do to look more interesting is going to make people want to talk to you. And better is the
My
same thing as
shirts.
more interesting, right? So if you cultivate a sense of personal style, and personal style doesn't mean spending a lot of money on clothes. Personal style, for honestly, the bar is pretty low for men. Like you just have to wear clothes that fit, Like really, that's it. That's where the bar is for men. And obviously, Nate does have a sense of eclectic personal style, if I'm going to put it charitably. So yeah, throw that
As
on.
he
it.
shows the Coke shirt.
Yeah, just, yeah.
The Coke shirt is love. The Coke shirt is life. Leave it the fuck alone.
That's
Go,
the thing.
go,
If you-
cocaine rangers.
That's the thing, man. If you like honestly, if you go outside wearing your cocaine shirt, somebody's gonna want to talk to you. You're dressed like a fucking weirdo.
Well, Iron, weren't you the one that said, "What in the Wakanda forever is that?"
yes, that's me.
Yeah, dude. Like, I don't know. Like, it doesn't take much to be the best dressed person where you're at if most people have given up. And a lot of dudes unfortunately have fucking checked out. So it doesn't take that much to be the best dressed person where you're at. Like I became the best dressed comedian in Spokane completely by accident. I wear the same shit every single day. I have a de facto uniform, that is extremely versatile and covers me in almost every situation that I could potentially find myself in because I find clothes to be kind of a hassle. So I have what's known as a capsule wardrobe. So you get a couple, 3 pairs of jeans and then a couple different sweaters and a couple different shirts. And then you can like mix and match them. And then the combinations are like are significantly more. So you have a lot of different outfits you can make if you have a bunch of interchangeable pieces. That's just math, right? So you do that, and then it looks like it again. My clothes fit, and it looks like I got dressed on purpose. Now I put zero thought into it. It takes zero time. I always know what I'm going to wear in the morning. It's just right there. I know where I keep it. I don't think about it. It's just programmed, right?
It's funny you say that. I think Selena, wasn't that? I think that was the first thing that drew my attention to you, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, your style. Like you stood out from all the men in Arkansas.
See what I'm saying?
Wasn't
That's what
hard
I'm
to
saying.
do.
Look, no. So listen,
And I
these
was
guys all
clean.
dressed. Yes. First of all, he was clean. Yeah. Most men in I'm not shaming people in Arkansas. Let's just say that. Most men in
Lie.
my
Little
area
that we were in.
the area we were in was mainly men who worked at the farms, and
Well, even the ones that didn't.
and the ones that didn't, they would still come in like their shoes and boots were covered in mud, and they wouldn't be clean, and their skin was dirty, and like cowboy hats, the whole bit, right? Iron, on the other hand, was dressed in like a nice vest or a tie, or like and jeans, just something.
Oh God,
that
Iron
stood
was a
out that was like,
metrosexual?
no.
Are you that shocked?
Good point. Thank you.
No, but even that, like she's pointing out, and very, very disrespectfully to our farming communities, we love it. But a lot of the other the cool guys all look like they kind of had a uniform. They all had the same fucking Ed Hardy or tap out shirts, basketball shorts,
exactly.
and
Selena's riding around at night,
seashells, the fucking seashell necklaces.
Yeah, very douchey. Sorry.
Yeah. That was the other set of my competition in the area.
Yeah.
And that was it.
Yeah, the tap out shirts were a big thing, and also like the giant skull pick. Like it's a thing. It was a thing
on a
back in the-
t-shirt, but velvet. God, the 2000s.
Velvet.
What was wrong? With
Yes, I'm talking about the 2000s, you guys. Come
And,
on.
oh,
Like, the fashion
dazzled
wasn't great for
jeans.
girls either.
These motherfuckers had more fucking
Yes.
jewels on their asses than most girls had on their faces.
And they were wearing like jeans like Kendrick Lamar, like the fucking bell
Yeah.
bottoms. But no, he stood out because of his sense of style. And also then it's like, oh, well, where are you from? Oh, he's from Vegas. I'm from California. Like we clicked because we got, into a conversation. And then just what kind of music do you like? And it spawned off to a whole other thing.
And did we have 100% aligned interests?
No, not
at the
at
time?
all. At all, no.
And we still don't now, not 100%.
No.
She's introduced me to some things I didn't think I'd ever like, and then I went ahead and all right, this is kind of cool. And then same thing, vice versa. You don't have to be 100% in line interest wise. Otherwise, that's fucking boring if you think about it.
It is boring. Yeah.
Right.
If you have different interests and you can like get each one of them involved, like that's even more fun. So yeah, don't always look for that.
So I guess I've got one last question about how we should really go about starting all of this, because and I think this is going to be the hardest question, because the hardest part is finding the right time to go about and say, do that uncomfortable thing, break that social norm, and go out of our bubble. So how is it just a matter of once it clicks and you're ready to do it, or do you think there's a way to recommend when a man should go out of his bubble and actually try to break that cycle?
Okay, I will say this. The best time is right fucking now, as soon as this podcast is over. The second best time is first thing tomorrow morning. I mean it. First thing in the morning.
And work tomorrow morning.
Yeah,
so.
first thing in the morning is the best time to do the thing you least want to do. Do it immediately. That's how I say. And if you are really not looking forward to it, confront it immediately. And
then back to this. What about from a more pragmatic standpoint?
Yeah. I would say my advice is to pursue immediacy to whatever extent you can. And here's the thing. If you can't, this is the thing. One thing, I can actually take this back a step. Let's say your room is fucking crushing it. You remembered to shower. You're wearing pants. You're ready to confront the day. You get out there and you see the woman and you're like, oh my God, I'm terrified to tell her she has nice hair, even though that's going to totally make her day and she's going to love it. And I don't want to give her happiness and joy because I'm a selfish person. I don't want her to feel happiness. So I'm going to sit here and be afraid like a piss baby. Right. Okay. So listen. So if you're having if you're having those catastrophizing thoughts like Nate is having, that if you tell a woman,
Stoicism is for.
I think your hair is nice, right? And you think, oh no, she's going to pepper spray me. Take a second and sit in that fear. Just acknowledge.
Well, also, maybe it's how you're asking is like, hey, your hair, I like it so much.
Let's say for a second, you see a woman with nice hair and you want to go talk to her, right? And you want to say, hey, nice hair, go for it, right? But you don't want to go for it because you're like, I feel fear. What if she maces me? Whatever, right? Okay.
Put on goggles.
Sit in that fear. Sit in that fear for a second and then tolerate it. And then breathe in and breathe out and lower that heart rate down. Even if you don't approach that woman, just acknowledge that you felt that fear and see if you can't take some deep breaths and bring that fear level down a little bit. See if you can't sit in that fear and tolerate it for a bit, right? See if you... Oh. What the fuck? Jesus Christ.
Oh, no.
God, this is what I'm dealing with.
Oh, right, you guys know.
You have very pretty hair. I think it would look great on me.
Strider, you need some help.
Oh shit!
Right, you just punched your ticket to hell, son. You're on your way there.
Shout out to Toasty for the solid joke
That's great.
in the chat. Oh man.
All right, so I guess this is another question that realistically only someone like you, who's a total man whore, could have an answer to.
Right.
What can you compliment a woman for that she is the least likely to get upset or pepper spray?
Yeah, this is easy. Okay, yeah. So you want to focus on things that were her choice.
Her eyes?
No,
Did she
not her
choose
choice.
her
That's
eyes?
God's
Did she
gift.
choose her eyes?
She did not choose her eyes. Focus on things
I
that are her
tried.
choice.
Never mind.
Focus on things that are her choice, right? So why would like okay, so as soon as Selena changed up her hair, I was like, oh shit, Selena, you got some new hair? What's up, girl? See how that went well for me?
It did. It went really
Yeah, because
well.
she made a choice and she spent a lot of money. She looks like that on purpose,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah, it's a
So-
choice. Yeah.
Same with outfits. Outfits are a little tricky because even if you say, like, I've said, hey, I think you have nice shoes, and they've taken what? Because they make me look like a stripper. I'm like, bitch, you're the one wearing them. What the fuck? So, like, some women are touchy. It is what it is. And outfits can be tricky because sometimes, because you can say nice outfit, and you're like, what? What? Because my tits are out, you like it? No, so they could get. But honestly, things like hair or like jewelry or actually shoes are pretty safe. Bags, but shoes and bags, you're starting to get into gay territory, so you might want to stay away from that.
Yeah,
I'd say the reason I say hair is because almost every woman has hair, and almost every woman did it the way they did it.
What about jewelry?
I don't know. Here's the thing. Jewelry's hit and miss. And the reason I say that is because, so first of all, sometimes jewelry hangs around the bust line, and so that can get tricky. And the other thing I've had,
Okay with that.
and also, sometimes, if you pay too much attention to the details of the outfit, that can get coded as gay. And I know that's really unfair because autism, but it could also be gay. When you do it, it's autism, but she hears gay. Right?
So you're saying the best places to
both of you guys are into the goth chicks, so that opens up ours' jewelry thing.
Yes.
And a lot of other things extremely well. And goth chicks, let's face it, they're dressed like that for the attention.
Right.
Give it to them.
Yes. That's exactly
respectfully and appropriately. But back to what you were saying, Theo, like what? Because I look like a stripper, or because you can see my tits? Sometimes that opens a door for a simple, why, yes.
Excellent.
I mean, you put them on display. I mean, what's the problem?
It's about delivery.
Right.
That delivery wrong. The way you said no.
I gotta
Playfully with a hint of humor.
Yes, and also,
if you you put them on display. What if I mean, they're right there.
Yeah. I was like, well,
sorry.
I like also, just like a well and a facial expression and a gesture, and you just insinuation.
Because women find that hilarious.
Yeah,
they get back to you.
Here's the thing. The reason guys like MSK get fucked up with women is because they're saying it overtly. Women love sex jokes. They just like them to be implicit. They like them to be subtle. They like to be able to draw the conclusion. It can be disgusting too, but they get to draw the conclusion of what you meant themselves, and they get to keep that in their brain. If you say it outright, they're going to go, ugh. They're going to have a bad reaction to it. And by the way, sometimes they don't, but I got to be like, some women have more comfort with it than others, but I think in general, you're safe almost always if it's like super like subtle and implicit.
Yeah.
I've told this story before, but one of those, I was having kind of like a spirited discussion with a woman, and she was like, you're putting words in my mouth. Yeah, we were having a play argument about something that inconsequential, which I'm a big that's a little advanced for you, buddy. That's blue belt technique. That's not where you're at. But a play argument with a woman to kind of ratchet up and also release some of the sexual tension is actually really useful. But one of the things she said to me, you probably shouldn't masturbate in front of the woman. I promise I'll probably putting a bow on this, buddy. Please, like, let me, I'll
At least not for a while.
Not initially. You should ask first. And even if she says yes, you still might lose your contract with Netflix. So don't do it. All right.
Pour one out for Louis C.K.
Pour one out for, pour one out for Louis C.K. in the chat. Oh, man. the point is, okay, so we were having a spirited discussion with this lady, and she was like, "You're putting words in my mouth," and I said, "We'll start with words and see where we get." And she laughed and blushed and was scandalized. She's like, "I'm not agreeing with you. That was funny." And it's like that's what I'm talking about. Is like I didn't say anything super like gross with that, but I'm definitely making a bawdy joke, but it's like the implication, it's because of the implication, to tie it back to the dentist comparison I drew last night. It's the implication, baby. Like sex appeal lives in plausible deniability. That's the thing. Flirting is all about plausible deniability. That's you gotta understand that. Like if you make it overt, it's like not fun. It's fun. Anyway, this is getting into some more advanced techniques you guys aren't ready for. You don't know how to talk to strangers. But
learning how to make them question, was he flirting with me? That's some advanced skill.
I've never heard a guy have that power. I don't believe men can do that.
I got
absolutely.
Yeah,
Are you kidding?
Just make sure.
I don't want to.
Just make sure you're doing it to someone who's not going to get you arrested or get you killed.
No, here's the thing.
You're going so far into that. Like I'll get arrested, killed, pepper sprayed, thrown in jail.
Here's the thing. This is what I'm saying. First of all, Nate, these thoughts are catastrophizing. But even if they weren't, part of the fun is I might get arrested or killed. For real. Like I know that sounds crazy to you, but I like the fact that I'm dancing with danger.
How many married women have you done it with?
People are fucking insane.
We won't talk about that on the podcast. Let me put it this way. I've probably been with more married women than most guys have been with women, period. To be honest. Like, and I don't advocate for that now. I made bad choices when I was younger, and I don't think you should do it. But what I'm saying is like,
but you said you're a good role model.
Here's the thing. Flirting is inherently Can you just let me finish? Flirting is inherently dangerous, right? It's an inherent, especially in today's times. Flirting is like wrong thing. Flirting is like illegal under the current social construct. But what did we say at the beginning? If you want to have a happy relationship, you must violate social norms, right? And the big one is the social taboo against flirting. You just have to put yourself out there. And I'm not disputing the risks. The risks are real. Do it anyway. You might talk to the wrong woman and get yourself in some real trouble. Do it anyway. That's what I'm saying. Do it anyway, right? And
if I come home one day and get on camera and half my face is missing, I'm blaming you.
Okay, if first of all, if some goth mommy took out half your face, you would like that shit. You would jack off to that for years, and you know it. But don't even give me that. You're talking like getting beaten up by a hot woman is something you wouldn't welcome. You're so fucking touch-starved, man.
Be like battle scars.
Yeah,
right?
Dude, come on. Quit being
You're going to this extreme when the reality is you're just going to get embarrassed and cry yourself to sleep that night. It didn't kill you. It just wasn't pleasant.
All right, because I think
that's the average thing that's going to happen.
Yes.
It's just
she might look at you crazy. Like that, like this. This is like, oh no.
So remind me, you live in West Virginia, right? People aren't that
West Virginia.
Where do you live? South Carolina?
South Carolina, that's what it was. Yeah. But either way, you live in a relatively normal place. You don't live in some blue haven,
it's not like you're living in
New
like
York or California,
Vegas,
or Vegas.
I live in an area that is basically on the verge of being rich town and hood at the same time. There is a very diverse
practically
group
everywhere,
of people
though.
in here.
Yeah,
but that
sounds
means
pretty normal.
The amount of people there who are going to try and
quirks?
like kill you is probably relatively small. And this thing, I guess that's one other thing. When we comes back to the Stoicism and cognitive therapy, you've got to remind yourself of what is a real thing. You have to sit down and to think, what is the worst thing that I can imagine happening? Now, what is the worst thing that could actually happen?
Because, you're conflating fucking emotional embarrassment and emotional pain with physical. Like, I'll get murdered.
Like,
you're not going to get murdered.
Is I go out there and an asteroid lands on me and leaves me in a really embarrassing position just because I asked a girl out.
If an asteroid lands on me during that, it better make me a fucking superhero. I'm just saying.
Well, it's just
that's like the best thing that could happen.
When's the last time you guys seen in the news a guy makes compliment and girl shoots the guy? I mean, like,
Not
Oh, yeah.
recently.
One last
That's
night.
a good point.
Yeah.
That's a good point. It's like, no, what
you
happened?
did not see one last night. You lying little sack of shit.
I got local news. There's crazy shit that happens over
wait,
here.
wait,
Link
for real?
it didn't
Like,
happen.
guy getting
Yo, does that girl have
girls
Pull up the
Instagram?
link.
Okay, let me see if I
Can we find her?
I want to
Can we
see it.
find that
I want to
girl?
Oh,
see
if you
it.
find this, I'm gonna be surprised.
Okay, find
Local
this girl.
man says hi to woman. Woman shoots local man. That better be the fucking headline.
That also sounds like how
You
find
have
your
been
wife
pissing
anyway.
me off more than anybody just in the last 72 hours. And I'm about at the end of my goddamn rope, okay?
Oh my.
See? You just made me mad again. I don't like getting high pitched.
For real though, Emerald, can you pull that up?
Yeah, Jamie, can you pull that up?
That's great. Great. This is fucking great.
Let me see if I can actually find it. No, I've actually seen stories of it happening. And I'm
No,
just
you
like,
haven't.
No,
No,
okay.
you
In the sense,
haven't!
I have seen stories discussing this where a woman has aggressively
really
attacked or
wanna
maced a
know.
man just for
Okay,
being flirting.
okay.
I've
Do
seen
we need
those.
to get third railify
Yes!
in here to discuss how unreliable the news media is, and yet
Yes.
you're using it as you are using the news media to justify ending your
Mhm.
fucking bloodline, you idiot. Do you see how stupid that is?
These are
You are ending your bloodline,
For
you fucking fool. It's so
one-offs.
disrespectful to your ancestors. You're spitting in the face of the ancestors who fucking
Hey,
slayed
what do
mammoths
my
and
ancestors
saber-toothed
ever do?
tigers to get here, you fuck.
there you go.
God damn it.
This is the comfort level of like, well, I might be uncomfortable. Like when you talk about what fucking the golden generation that right out of fucking high school had to go
Now,
kill
let
Germans
me
and
remind you
Japanese.
guys,
Jesus
remind you guys.
Christ.
When yelling at us, remember our
I know.
inability to deal with discomfort is not our fault. We cannot deal with discomfort because of the society
know.
we were raised in.
I'm
references.
getting to
I cannot find any references. All articles that are coming up all involve another woman, bizarre love triangles.
Oh yeah, no,
Yeah.
that does
It's
It's
happen.
always the other woman
Yeah.
thing.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
like women against women is a huge thing. Yes.
No, yeah.
oh, here's a good one, Nate. You're actually more up to get murdered by a woman after you've already slept with her.
yeah.
I'd be okay with that, actually. Black Widow, that's perfectly fine with me.
No, high risk, high reward, baby. You gotta go.
Arza, have you ever? I would really encourage you to bring up your mom in therapy sometime, buddy.
can't
I'm
find
serious. I'm serious, buddy. Get that worked on.
No, the problem, my
love
mom's
you.
actually an incredibly passive person.
Nothing is fun without risk of pain or injury.
Dude, I can't even get on.
That's
a
why people
Ferris
do
wheel.
things.
Like
Then do it. Then go get on one, please.
We
You can get on a Ferris wheel. That's your homework.
That is
last
that should be the
time I
smallest
got
thing.
on one, that pole that basically attaches to the thing, I was holding on to that motherfucker because I didn't want to look over the edge.
Okay, so but that's
You know,
this
that's
is
a funny
actually a great
story.
thing.
Make another funny story, just
This
like
is
that.
a great
You have
thing.
something
This
to
is
tell
the
people.
smallest thing you need to do because that is a place where danger is so unreasonably low. Because if you fall, they get sued. That's the last thing they want to happen
Gotta
is to
get
get
that payday.
sued.
I fall.
The
I
odds of you
die.
falling, so okay,
Maybe.
okay, hold up. If you fall and die, so fucking what? You don't have to deal with it anymore. You're dead. You literally do not have to deal with it. If you fall and get injured, so what? You get a payout. If you go up there
Mhm.
and nothing happens, nothing happened. There's nothing to
Then-
worry
and-
about. There's literally no room for error here. There is
Right.
no risk that isn't self-solving.
Stoicism.
Exactly.
There,
Exactly.
Yes.
Arza.
You need to adopt your thoughts to be pragmatic about it. What's the what is the worst thing I can think of? Now, what's the worst thing that can actually happen? And what happens if that happens?
So, what do you think,
And-
Ferris wheel boy?
I think you guys would miss me very much if something happened to me.
Well, we would.
Here's the thing, Nate,
But you don't
nothing
have to deal
will.
with that.
And if it does, hey, you get the benefit of knowing that we're all going to feel really, really bad and probably a little guilty for a
Exactly.
while.
Yeah, I'll
Now-
feel super bad.
I
We'll
would
do
never
it.
do
We'll
that
do a
to you
tribute
guys.
episode of Touch Grass. I never should have made him
Right.
go on that Ferris wheel. I feel terrible. He's retarded now.
We'll
He
become
fell out and damaged his
Ferris wheel
brain.
activists
He's in a chair.
Next episode of the Rogues
Horrible.
Gallery podcast, I'm in a wheelchair like Stephen Hawking.
God damn.
Let's go.
I'll feel
let's
really
go back
bad.
to the normal. What's totally going to happen is you're going to go on it. You're going to feel embarrassed about, looking like a chicken shit on it. You're going to tell us it's going to be funny. Then you're going to do it again. Then you're going to do it again. And then eventually somebody's going to stand there and ask why do you keep coming to this Ferris wheel? You must really like Ferris wheels. No, I don't. I fucking hate Ferris wheels. Let me tell you why I'm doing this, and be honest. Tell them why you're doing this. And you know what? That's kind of interesting.
You know what? The fourth time you go on, you leave the Ferris wheel line and you go to the fireballs line.
Fireballs line? What are you talking about?
You never had the fireball ride? Oh, this ride's great. It's a circle and it's red. It's called the fireball.
Oh, wait a minute.
It goes like this, and then it stops up here, and then it goes like this.
Nope. I took one look at that thing, and I was like, fuck you.
Well, I used to be terrified of it, and then I went on it, and then I can do roller coasters. It was that, and then I could do any roller coaster I wanted to.
I got on a ride like that with my cousin, and when we got off it, I about fucking killed him for convincing me to get on it in the first place.
Yeah. Was that the right reaction to have towards your cousin for making you do that?
Oh, he was laughing at me while I was choking him out. I said,
task, Nate. I wonder if you would do this. I know you don't have a lot of time and you're like between work and all that, but try this. Have you ever signed up for Uber or Lyft to drive?
Yeah, that's all one of my exes ever
Okay,
used to
so
use.
listen, this is the greatest thing. Look, it put me in a space where you're forced to talk to people, right?
Yeah.
How are you? How's your day? Where are you from? Where are you visiting from? What's your plans today? And a simple like, have a great day. Like, you always have to keep up a conversation, right? For two things. One, tips.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I gotta go.
Two,
my dad's ill.
All right.
I need to
God.
go.
Hope everything's okay, man.
Take it easy, buddy.
It's all right.
I'll see you guys later.
Take it easy, buddy. Rooting for you.
See you, dude.
Proud of you. I like him. He's my favorite.
I love Arza.
He's my favorite. Nate, you are a distant
I love you
third.
guys too.
You're a distant third. But no, listen, like, okay, it puts you gradually. Every little ride is a new experience. Every new ride is a different person. Every new ride, sometimes you can feel them out. Like me, I have to judge people when I'm picking up. Are they going to be the silent type like me? Should we just have the radio on? Do I see them put the headsets on? Then we don't talk. Just a simple, hi, how you doing? Are you going here? Go to the destination. But sometimes it's like, are you new in this city? What are you doing? Like, and it creates a conversation, and it puts you in takes you out of your comfort zone. Try that.
This is somebody who has never was nowhere near a master of this art of small talk.
Not at all.
At all.
Like at all.
Why do you think I thought she was the stuck-up hot chick? There's a reason.
Everybody thought I was rude, and it wasn't that. I was just scared and quiet and shy. But do that. Do a little bit of that. You don't have to do it all day long. Just start with one ride.
Yeah, and you'll have extra money.
Yeah. On top of it.
And then you might be able to go to Vegas.
Exactly.
Wow, you see how quickly we solved all
that
of your
sour
problems?
face as soon as you said that. Look at that. He looks like he just smelled the worst fart imaginable.
Yeah.
We've been over this.
Good idea, Selena. Selena getting love in the chat.
Yeah, so listen, I mean, try that when you at least try that for real. Like, it'll help you. I'm not kidding.
Because, like what I did, real quick, I was kind of in a similar situation with Theo. I had done comedy, then I stopped. I was in a horrible relationship, and then I was in a very antisocial, didn't know how to even regain anything, let alone think about doing that again. That wasn't even on the radar. I just wanted to figure out how to function and everything. So it's like, I'm in a shitty retail job. You know what? I'm going to go change it up. I'm going to go bartending. I'll be forced into an uncomfortable situation. And that led to eventually going back to my passions and different things I wanted to do. But you have to take that first high risk, because I didn't know how much money I was going to make. I was going to take a severe pay cut. I could make twice as much as I'm making now in tips, or I could make nothing because I suck at it. I've never done it before, and I might not get any tips at all.
Going back into the chat for quite some back in something that Strider said, be okay with sitting in discomfort. And that's by doing an Uber or doing stand up or just going and introducing yourself to someone new. That's a discomfort So go and do it because it's a discomfort. Eventually, it will no longer be discomfort.
I love the Uber idea though, because it'll
Yeah.
benefit you in every way. You'll be making extra money to buy more stuff that you want to buy. Maybe get a better, some more stuff for your streams, or just something you want. More of those stupid shirts. I don't care, whatever.
Literally, whatever makes your
want.
heart smile.
But it's also a conversation. Yeah, you're putting yourself in a situation where you have to talk to people, and it's gradual. Yeah, it's a bonus, right? Like you're doing all these things, and it actually feels so good. I'm only stressed sometimes because it's like here in Vegas, there's such competition. I'm sure you would do great where you are. Like there's enough opportunity, and
the wind.
Just do it on the Saturdays where you don't do D&D.
Yeah.
One day every 2 weeks to start out.
for a few hours even.
2 to 4 hours.
Sign up today. I'm serious. You'll get approved. You'll be ready for next Saturday. It's worth a try. Hey, see? I'm proud of you.
I'm not saying it's not.
No, I mean, get on it.
Like
now I'm being
now.
bossy.
Like right now.
I like it. Stream's over, fellas. I got something
Whoa,
to do.
Iron. Hey, Iron, calm down.
That's right.
Oh God.
I
was looking at Theo. Theo's face was just.
No, I was being.
Well, no. It just dawned
Wait,
on
is this
me.
a bad idea, you guys? Is it good?
No, it's a really good
I
idea.
like it.
Selena, I want you in your best suggesting voice that's not demanding. Tell that to Nate again, okay? Go ahead.
What the fuck? No.
First, take me off of there.
We'll just put her on the spot like that. What
No,
the
I
hell?
don't. I don't like the big thing.
Whoa.
But,
Sorry.
guys, you guys are filthy.
I'm sorry.
You just made it something else.
It's been a long week.
I'm not now. I'm on the spot. Just do it.
Yeah, Nate, just fucking drive for Uber. It takes 2 seconds. Just fucking do it. And,
Yeah.
and then you'll have money to go to Vegas. And then we won't have to bother you about, what'd be great is everyone would stop bothering you about Vegas if you would actually go.
Yeah, I know. It would be fucking amazing.
Yeah, it would.
Because you don't have to go to Indiana. You're a grown man. All you have to do is say, Mom, I'm not going to Indiana. I'm doing something I want to do. I need this for myself this year. Are any of the relatives in Indiana not going to be there?
One might not be. She's probably gonna be dead next year. It's the whole reason we're going.
Then can you go out and see her by yourself a little later? Maybe then you won't have family to deal with. What? Do one weekend round trip flight? Just boom, there. Hi, Nana. Kisses and love. Bye, Nana. Back home. Then you wouldn't have to deal with your parents. Then you wouldn't have to deal with your parents while you're there. It'd be about you and her. You'd be developing a good memory that may be the last one with
dude,
this
and you
beloved relative.
And dude, and if you keep doing all the stuff you're doing, start driving for Uber, talking to chicks, you could fly out there with your hot new girlfriend and be like, hey, Nana, here's this sweet piece I'm tapping. You're gonna love that. Dude, you could really throw her for a loop and it could be a black girl. She's the grandma from the South, right? That'd fuck her up. Just saying.
She would go into cardiac arrest on the spot.
That's what I'm saying. Would that be fun?
Where's Arza with the timestamps? Damn it.
2:06.
Oh man. Anyway, this has been fun, guys. We're coming up on 2 hours. I want to probably wrap this bad boy up. What do you say we do outros and get out of here, huh?
Are we live?
Hey, Emerald, can you make sure Arza's stuff gets in the chat? Because he's not here to do his own outro.
Yep, I will.
Arza's really cool. He does like media criticism and stuff on his channel. He's got a really good perspective. He's one of the bright young content creators in the space. And so go ahead and make sure to give him a follow. And Full Metal Nate, where can we find you?
Well, you can find me at the Full Metal Nate YouTube channel here on YouTube. I do some gaming, play some D&D every 2 weeks. We are playing Curse of Strahd tonight at 7 p.m. EST. I still got to work on some music. I got to figure out what the hell y'all are fighting. I got a battle map. I just haven't figured out what the hell y'all are fighting tonight.
Hell yeah.
But after that, I'm just going to be kind of chilling out. I'll be on Iron Stream next Friday, I'll probably be back here as well. Drunken, I'll probably come by and visit you after I'm done with Iron Stream. Other than that, just kind of trying to navigate my way through life and just chill out when I can.
Cool, man. What about you, Drunk Emerald Arrow? Normally, when you're not producing the Touchgrass podcast, what else do you get up to?
Well, I enjoy reading. I'm very big into
Fucking
movies,
nerd.
and movies I've actually seen. No, I got the insert title here show, which is Fridays at 9:30 PST, as well as on Tuesdays at 5:30 PST. We have Nerds Covering the News. This week, I'll be joining Arthur Nix on his show on the 19th, which is Wednesday, and then Iron Show one of these days this week, and then back here for Touchgrass. Oh, Cavecast over on Sammy Three Pete's show next week. We'll know what the topic is a little bit later, specifically within the Cavecast, and that's going into the lore of Batman. And then back here producing Touchgrass with Theo Snodgrass.
Hell yeah, man. What about you, Iron Oxide? What do you get up to these days?
Well, I've moved up to 2 shows per week as far as the Rogue Gallery goes. We've got now a Wednesday show, 5:35 p.m. PDT, and the Friday show is still going strong. We had a great episode last night, and I think everybody should go catch it on the replay. Our guest was Camelot, and that was a hell of a lot of fun. But you can catch the weekly Rogues Gallery 5:30s on Wednesdays, and of course 5:30s on Fridays. Speaking of Arza, that kid is extremely talented and hardworking, and he has created a Discord for the Rogues Gallery and has a subcategory for all other creators. And we're really trying to build that up. So if you're in the space, you got a channel and you're like me and don't really want to fuck around with Discord because it's annoying and complicated, well, just join ours and hang out. If you're cool and you can vibe with us, we'll vibe with you. So go ahead. I put the link to that in the channel, or I think I did. I might have to put it in the private chat and let Emerald do it. But aside from that, I will be over on the Curse of Strahd, probably going to get killed later on this evening. So really looking forward to that. And I occasionally kick it over on Touchgrass, insert title here, quickly becoming the most wild fucking show on on Friday nights.
Last night was unhinged.
It was. And then of course I'm a regular over here on Touchgrass. I'm really having a good time. I think this show is doing really well. I like the format you got here, man. This is different. Good conversations. All right.
Cool, man. I appreciate you. What about you, Selena? What kind of cool stuff do you get up to?
You can find me over on the weekly Rogues Gallery now on Wednesdays. I produce over there, as well as the weekend Rogues Gallery now on Fridays at the same time. I'm a regular now on Touchgrass, so I'm very happy about that. You can occasionally find me on Drunken Arrow's show after the weekly Rogues Gallery on Fridays. Insert title here. Other than that, not really working on anything myself right now, but I just like being in the whole mix of things. So thanks.
Thank you, Selena. I too enjoy being in the hole. All right. So this is my. See how well that went for me, Nate.
Delivery.
See how well that went for me. You see, think about MSK saying that same thing, and think how well it would have gone for him.
No,
right? Okay,
It still doesn't work.
I don't. All right. I'm Theo Snodgrass. I'm your host over here at Touchgrass. And I know what you're thinking. Theo, you appear on so many podcasts. You have a Patreon. You have a merch store. You're doing live stand-up comedy all over America. How can I possibly keep track of everything you're doing? Well, you got to follow me on Twitter. You got to follow me on X. You got to follow me on Instagram. You got to follow me on YouTube. You got to like, share, and subscribe this show right here. You got to be here every Saturday at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, or no matter where I am in the country, I'm going to be broadcasting to you fine people. That's what I'm going to be doing. That's my commitment to you. Can you commit to me, or do you have commitment issues? Are you afraid? Are you afraid to see what we might become together? All right, that's it. All right. All right, that's it, folks. We're going to do a hard out. Y'all take care now.